Look, Screen Deck doesn't just want Fairy Tale Snow. The more I watch these matches. Yeah. Furman given a read over Gradle Slime Jr. Something we saw at Deception popularized in the top cut of YCS Anaheim when he made the top 4 with Paleozoic Frogs.
Yeah, I'll bring that up on the screen.
Pretty strong. Has a effect similar to Debris Dragon, something like that. You get to special summon back a monster from your grave, and then you can also special summon a water monster from your hand. So it lets you accelerate very quickly into totally awesome Xyz monsters, such as Totally Awesome.
Totally Awesome
and all the Paleozoic ones as well.
Totally Awesome is Totally Awesome.
Yep, and that was really heads up right there. So Temez activated Reckless Greed to try to special summon some Paleozoics from his grave, but Furman responded with Forbidden Chalice just so Temez didn't have the opportunity to respond with his own Paleozoics.
That's very cool. The Paleozoic effects to special summon themselves from the graveyards can only be chained directly to a trap card.
Yes.
So by interrupting the chain with a spell card, there's no opportunity to bring them back to the field.
Yep. Yep.
And despite all of those cards being sent to his graveyard, Temez is in really poor shape.
Definitely.
Ronin Totem is now destroyed in the end phase by
Looks like
Trident's
Furman's going to
effect.
smell blood here.
Oh, yeah. Got one compulsory evacuation device that can send a monster to the hand and bring back a Paleozoic from the graveyard with the Paleozoic's effect.
If Furman chooses not to respond to it with, I believe his last card's Forbidden Chalice. He could just
Okay,
chalice his
so
own
you're
monster
right, he could.
to try to break it out, but the problem is, though, that now Temez has at least Ronin Totem in his grave with Frogs. He's going to upgrade that Trident to Tiger Mortar and then use the effect of Tiger Mortar detaching Trident to put Rap here under it as an Xyz material.
Upgrades into a Borbo.
Yep.
And compulsory comes down, targeting the Borbo.
Yep. Furman's considering the response here with Forbidden Chalice. Temez is locked under Reckless Greed, so
Ooh.
I think this is a pretty good opening. But because Temez did not use his last card, it's likely a monster.
Yeah. Is there a reason to Chalice here? Just to stop the Paleozoic from... Do you care if the Paleozoic hits the field?
Probably because he already has Ronin Totem. Are you saying just to protect it? Because you can just attack over it?
Yeah, right now, Furman has the option of
just
using,
letting it go.
Yeah, of either
attacking.
Correct.
Yeah.
Letting it resolve or using the Chalice just to stop the Paleozoic from coming back from the grave.
Yeah, no, I think letting it go is fine.
Yeah, because he's just going to destroy it in battle, right?
Yeah. As long as he's a monster that can do that, there's no reason not to.
And he has plenty.
Yeah.
Maybe he was calculating whether he could win by preventing
Yes.
it. But
because the Forbidden Chalice not only prevents it, but also gives him an extra 400 damage.
yeah. He could do 5,300 had he chaliced, but that's not nearly enough. So here comes 2 Ronin Totems, one from the grave, one from the hand. Temez correctly did not draw a card for the turn. And now it's interesting.
So we're here, round
now
7,
he's off the
YCS
ground.
Atlanta. 3 more rounds of Swiss to go.
He summons Totally Awesome.
Things are shaping up a bit. This round, we have 2 6-0 duelists.
Oh, this might get met with
Kamal Crooks. He got second at UDS Chicago.
Not sure.
Being bested by Aaron Furman. He is
I mean,
playing
if he mirror forces
the very popular variant
Totally
of Zodiac
Awesome
that we've
can
seen
take the
before
mirror
with
force,
an
right?
invoked engine.
Yeah, he
and
can't
three
attribute it to
deck
himself.
copies of blah blah blah
Yeah.
of obedience
Which would
to
be
sort of
pretty
like
good.
as a mirror
Yeah.
breaker.
Yeah, that's
right?
been a popular card this weekend.
Yes, definitely. Especially the players from like the Florida area, all are pretty much on that. And his opponent, Chase Sidle,
making the read.
is using a 60
Yeah.
card Lightsworn variant. We've seen a lot
Totally
of
Awesome
60 card
stealing the
Lightsworn
mirror
decks.
force
They're
is
sort of like
probably not a
Nerva
position
Turbo
that
decks, but a
Furman
little
wants
bit
to be
bigger.
in,
But this one's including the
Oh,
invoked, which
Furman
means he
messed
gets
up. He
access
didn't
to
see
a ton of
that.
awesome cool stuff. But I'm sure we'll get to talk about that as the feature
He
match
thought he
goes.
can negate the
We've seen a
Totally
lot of
Awesome's
invoked
effect.
decks as well this
Yeah.
weekend.
Yes,
Maybe
yes,
he thought that. I don't
showing
know.
there's actually a
Now this
huge
is really
impact
rough, too.
from the new
He gets to
Fusion
add back
Enforcer
Gradle Slime
set.
Jr. Yeah, the invoke cards
And
are
make it
super
defense.
strong.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a bit of a
powerful.
misstep by Furman.
There's so many cool interactions. It's really exciting.
Yeah, so both of these
So
duels
it looks like
are
Furman
using
draws
the
combo.
invoked engine.
Temez is right
but
back
only
in this
one
game.
of them will advance with
He does have
a
to skip one more draw
7-0
phase, though.
record.
Indeed.
So skipped.
Looks like
Temez
our
summons
duelists are
Greater
still
Slime Jr.
preparing. So
Shuffling up.
not quite
Summons
yet.
another from
But
the grave.
so cool things that Chase Sidle's deck does. So it's
He
a
could
6-card
chalice to negate the effect, but I don't think he really cares about that Greater Slime Jr. coming back, right?
No, I mean, the difference is that he can make the Paleozoic Exceeds that takes 3 materials, right? That's the big
true.
difference. But how
Does
much
he
that
care about
matters.
that?
Round 7, YCS Atlanta. 3 more rounds of Switch to go. Things are shaping up a bit. This round, we have 2 6-0 duelists. Kamal Crooks, he got second at UDS Chicago, being bested by Aaron Furman. He is playing the very popular variant of Zodiac that we've seen before with an invoked engine and 3 main deck copies of Lullaby of Obedience to sort of like as a mirror breaker.
Yeah, that's
right?
been a popular card this weekend.
Yes, definitely. Especially the players from like the Florida area, all are pretty much on that. And his opponent, Chase Sidle, is using a 60-card Lightsworn variant. We've seen a lot of 60-card Lightsworn decks. They're sort of like the Minerva Turbo decks, but a little bit bigger. But this one's including the Invoked, which means he gets access to a ton of awesome, cool stuff. But I'm sure we'll get to talk about that as the feature match goes.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of invoked decks as well this weekend.
Yes.
Showing there's actually a huge impact from the new Fusion Enforcers set.
Yeah, the Invoke cards are super strong. Very, very powerful. There's so many cool interactions. It's really exciting.
Yeah, so both of these duelists are using the invoked engine, but only one of them will advance with a 7-0 record.
Indeed. Looks like our duelists are still preparing. So
Shuffling up.
not quite yet. But so cool things that Chase Sidle's deck does. So it's a 60-card Lightsworn deck, including the Invokes. The most awesome part about it is he uses Eclipse Wyvern with Judgment Dragon. So he sends the Eclipse Wyvern, banishes Judgment Dragon, then gets to banish the Eclipse Wyvern with Invocation to add the Judgment Dragon to his hand.
That's really cool, and also obviously that grass looks greener can send 4 Lightsworn monsters to the graveyard in a single activation of a spell. So he can get that Judgment Dragon online very quickly, and with board wipes being all the rage right now, Judgment Dragon's effect is actually very powerful. As it once was.
He's also including some other interesting cards like Pot of Desires. We don't normally see that in the 60-card variants. Enemy Controller, especially in a Lightsworn variant, we don't see that too often. He also has cards like Arcus, Lightsworn Druid. We haven't seen that in a long time. Luna, Lightsworn Summoner.
I haven't seen someone play Arcus in years.
Yeah, I mean, Arcus was the best Lightsworn in the Lightsworn mirror back in the day. And it was the answer to Gladiator Beast that's Lightsworn's utilized. You couldn't target my cards with Jazaris Mamilla. I'm sure Arcus was the bane of your existence. Arcus Honest, that's the ultimate combo.
I remember that. Good times.
Looks like our duels are just about ready, so let's get to it. It's time to duel. All right, so it's just about ready to get started. Another interesting inclusion, alongside this is much more of a pure Lightsworn deck than we've seen. Normally, the Lightsworn decks we talk about nowadays are just sort of Minerva Turbo strategies, right?
Right.
Try and dump a bunch of stuff in graveyard and just overwhelm your opponent resources and do things like that. But he has a large Lightsworn engine along with 3 copies of Solar Recharge, which is crazy. Judgment Dragon. He's also using Photon Thrasher, which is actually super important when you're using the Invoked engine, because if you open with Terraforming, Photon Thrasher, that's like a full combo, because you get to go Terraforming for your field spell, search Alistair, normal summon it, well, you Photon Thrasher first, then normal summon it, search Invocation, and then you can start making rank 4 Exceeds to do more things. In this case, he's probably making Minerva. Typically, you're just supposed to make a Broad Bull, and you go off from there, and you can actually Zodiac combo. But it looks like Kamal Crooks opened Lullaby of Obedience, probably naming Speedroid Terratop, but there is none to be found. Inside Sidle's deck.
So he pays 2,000 life points. He gets to look through the deck, and basically he just sees a very interesting Lightsworn deck.
Yeah. You know, there's an interesting play with Lullaby of Obedience, especially when your opponent has more cards, but even more so. So you get, so you're in the feature match area, right? And you realize, you know, my deck's a little bit standard. I wonder what my opponent's playing. When you activate Lullaby of Obedience, how often do you think you're going to hit on Speedroid Terratop, knowing that you're in a feature match? Do you think pretty often?
That's interesting.
Or do you think you play a little bit differently because you think that's the monster right now?
Yeah. We try to find more creative decks, but
a lot of them still
Terratop
include.
is
Yeah, Terratop is just such a powerhouse. He does everything.
Yeah. Okay, so Crooks sets 2 back rows and passes, and play passes to Sidle, who uses Solar Recharge.
Yep, discards a Lumina to draw 2 cards, and then mills 2 more.
Okay, now he uses Pod Desires, giving up 10 of his 60 cards.
Yep.
To draw 2.
Draws, looks like Eclipse Wyvern plus a spell card.
My body has a shield.
Nice. Looks through his banish pile. Doesn't seem like there's anything too relevant there. Looks like he might just normal summon Fairy Tale Snow.
Entering battle phase. 16.
1,600 attack points on the Wyvern. It attacks directly, dropping Crooks down to 4,400 because he paid 2,000 life points.
Yep.
He sets Dimensional Barrier.
I'm also interested to see Upstart Goblin in Crooks' deck. It's a little bit weird because I feel like a lot of the Zodiac combo OTKs don't hit 9,000. They're in
That's
the
true.
8,000 to 8,800, 84, whatever, but not quite 9.
Yeah.
So
Standby phase.
Crooks draws another Dimensional Barrier and sets it. Sidle normal summons Snow to add to his Wyvern, and now has the ability to attack for 3,450.
Yep.
Which he does.
yeah, I mean,
From 44, so he's at 950 Crooks.
Main phase 2.
What's like that?
952. Main phase 2.
Snow
assuming
and
Minerva's going to come down.
Yeah. Snow and Eclipse Wyvern combine forces. Here comes the Minerva.
Main response.
Yep, I believe Minerva is cost as well, right? So
Effect.
Let's see.
nope, no hits there. But playing the Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't actually start with that just to try to OTK Crooks this turn.
Yeah, he could have.
But I understand playing conservatively and then just doing, just getting in whatever damage and then main phase 2.
Did he have 7 cards in his graveyard to go along with the snow?
Oh, I mean, like, he had 7 cards somewhere, right?
Well,
Like,
that's true. He can use
like
the cards
between
in his
the
hand as well.
yeah, and between what he mills with Minerva's, there's got to be 7. Like, he activated
Yeah.
a Solar Recharge, that's like 4 or
Yeah,
5.
you're right. It's aggressive going to 3 back rows, though.
Yeah, you're right. But
Yeah.
when they're not responding at all,
Yeah.
like, you could get got by a Torrential Tribute, but even then your Minerva will still trigger. You will get to mill some cards. Your Eclipse Wyvern will activate. Also, another Eclipse Wyvern enabler already in the grave, Fairy Tale Snow. Between Fairy Tale Snow and Invocation, you have a lot of ways to activate Eclipse Wyvern, which is why we might see Sidle at 6-0 right now.
So Crooks draws Rat Pierre.
Well, that's the first very relevant threat he's had all game.
Yes, but
But probably gonna
Dimensional
be met by
Barrier
Dimensional
is going
Barrier.
to stop it.
Activate Dimensional Barrier in response. Call Xyz.
Calls Xyz monsters.
Crooks looking, checking the life points, see if there's anything he can do. Nope, just looks like he's
That's
just
it.
going to concede.
Yeah, so he got Invocation without Alistair. That's always unfortunate because there's nothing you
Yeah.
can do with Invocation. If you
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
normally why
Alistair
we
anywhere.
see dual slim on Invocation. In Crooks' list, he has 1 copy of Magical Meltdown, 1 copy of a very popular ratio.
Yeah, because you can keep getting the Invocation
Is
back.
there none of the cards actually search Magical Meltdown, right? It's just that if you start with Magical Meltdown, you get the other ones.
Yeah, you could Terraforming it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
well,
a
there's no
field spell
copies to Terraform.
card.
I'm just interested in,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I guess Invocation is the worst card, but I was talking to someone earlier who's talking about, like, DD Crow completely blows out your whole entire engine if they DD Crow your Invocation once.
That's interesting and true.
Whereas, so, like, maybe you want a second copy of Invocation over Magical Meltdown, but Magical Meltdown is a starter, right?
Yeah.
So it gets you to where you need to go, whereas Invocation isn't a starter. So I guess for consistency purposes, like, Magical Meltdown is effectively just a 4th copy of Alistair. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
If you only run 1 Invocation, you might be in trouble if they
Yeah.
banish it.
But looking at side decks, on Sidle's end, 3 copies of Vanity's Fiend, we might see that. Seems like a very popular side deck card against Zodiac right now. Twin Twisters, maybe, probably not. Anti-Spell Fragments, also probably not going second. Raigeki and Forbidden Chalice definitely coming in.
Yes.
From Crook's side, 3 copies of Lancia. Not the strongest. Stardust Dragons with Starlight Roads. Maybe even wants that just because of Judgment Dragon, but we'll see.
Does
Also
he
because he's
know-
going first,
well,
he might want them.
Do you think he knows Sidle has Judgment Dragon?
Well, he got to
saw
look through the whole
Eclipse-
deck off
Oh,
of
you're
Lullaby
right.
of Obedience. So
You're right. So he does know.
Yep. So depending on how much that also plays a big difference with like information. Different Dimension Ground. That's a big breakout card I think this weekend. People are realizing that when they activate that grass looks greener. Different Dimension Ground completely just makes them lose so many resources that they could just end the duel for themselves off
Yeah.
of their best card.
I think that's a logical follow-up from the tournament held 2 weeks ago in Seattle, where so many players were playing That Grass Looks Greener. So this weekend, so many players are playing different dimension ground to counter it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, there are those World Championship 2016 sleeves again. Mal Crooks is using them.
Yep.
Do you remember what table you guys were?
Brawl Cook's just one win away from being a UDS champion.
He was the runner-up recently.
To Aaron Furman, who we featured in round 3 at UDS Chicago.
Sorry.
He could have had the belt if only he won one more match.
Yep.
The UDS is one of the coolest tournaments hosted by Konami, and there's another one coming up in 2 weeks in Las Vegas.
Yes,
So
one
if
of my
you,
favorite cities to do tournaments in.
if you're qualified to participate, you should highly consider it. It's a great tournament
Like they do.
You choose.
with awesome prizes. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of rounds, and in it,
So let's see these opening hands. Crooks this time, a much better hand with Rapier, some traps, a couple spells, good mix. Just a starter and support.
that
On Sidle's end, it's a little tough to see. Oh,
I do not have any Zodiac Rapiers in my deck.
oh
What?
my goodness. So Crooks manages to look through the whole entire deck, thinking that his opponent has Zodiac Rapier. I have no idea why. And then
because he had it in Duel 1. He sided out his Zodiac engine.
that's crazy.
Now Crooks calls Ratpier, and he pays 2,000 life points to look through Sidle's deck again.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, and he probably thought, oh, he certainly has Rapier. I saw it before. There were 3 of them.
Yep, just completely signed out. Sidle just mind gamed Crooks.
Yeah, I
Saw
wonder if
Lullaby
he-
of Obedience, and he's just like, I'm just making this card dead.
I wonder if he took it out because he knew Crooks would call Ratpier.
I mean, definitely. At
Or-
that point, you can't not, right?
Yeah, I mean, he might have just taken it out because he needed to make space for cards he wanted to put in, and he thought
Yeah, but
the
I feel
Zodiac
like the-
engine is the least valuable part of his deck.
yeah,
but that's
I know,
probably
that
unlikely.
just sounds like blasphemy.
Zodiac engine being the least powerful card of your deck, least powerful part. So, all right, he's stuck with his own Rapier. Summons it to send Zodiac combo to the graveyard. Wow, these Lullaby of Obedience plays have not been good for Crooks.
Yeah, but
Nothing you can
this
do
is
about
just
it.
insane, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's just using it how most players use it.
Activate Maxi.
Yeah, this is an interesting time to maxi for Sidle. He chooses to do it on the summon of Borbo, but not any effects.
But
So he
that
just
seems
gets
good. To
sort
me.
of like he gets a draw there, but
Yeah.
if you wait for broad, like you can give him a search, but you can just force him to use more cards.
Wow, Sidle draws Twin Twisters, and when Crooks flips Anti-Spell Fragrance, Sidle chains Twin Twisters.
Calling.
Yeah.
Targets the 2 back rows, the face-down back rows.
Yeah, doesn't think that he thinks he can push through Trident because he has Photon Thrasher and Raiden, which makes sense.
So he
Both
can.
of them can declare attacks.
Yes,
Summon Photon Thrasher.
and Dryden has 0 attack and defense points, and Crooks has no cards in his hand and only an irrelevant Anti-Spell Fragrance on his
Yeah.
field after
The issue
Dryden's
here
destroyed.
is that, well, actually, no. This is great.
Yeah,
Only a
this-
Zodiac
Metalfoes?
or Terratop gets Crooks out of this.
Yeah, he doesn't have a
Tenki
lot
and
of
Barrage,
draws.
not the best.
Target.
Let's see which one he chooses to destroy. Looks like he chose to destroy Raiden. Smart choice.
Man phase 2.
Gonna set that My Body as a shield.
Go ahead.
Won't be able to use it next turn, but the turn after.
Yes, we saw that come up in Seattle.
Yep.
Thanks to Anti-Spell
See,
Fragrance.
oh, Storming Mirror Force.
That is not helpful here.
Draws. That grass looks greener.
Wow, he'll
That's a
have to
good one.
set it before he can activate it, but once that happens,
See, put 40.
it might be over.
Activating Gray.
Freeze play.
Okay, so he
Yeah.
illegally tries to activate it, sets it instead.
Yeah.
Uh,
Palmer wants to not set it before the battle phase. Just, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
I
The
feel
only
like-
cards that really punish you there are like Malevolent
Right,
Catastrophe,
yeah.
things like that. But
I think he felt committed because he accidentally tried to activate it. But
See
he
my face.
now you launch that.
Now.
Crooks sets another dimensional barrier.
Yeah, this is actually just probably it. He's probably going to mill enough and hit a snow, then just Judgment Dragon, blow up everything, and then normal
Yeah.
summon.
Wolves he can send to the graveyard and special
Yeah,
summon.
well, he
So
probably
this-
wants a Judgment Dragon.
39.
So
49.
I'm just counting that, like, if he hits a snow and mills enough, like, it's just game. Because Judgment Dragon plus snow plus the raid in his hand is over.
Yeah, and he's backed by My Body as a Shield, just in case one of Crooks' back rows.
His Torrential Tribute, but it
Can't
doesn't play
destroy
around
it.
strike, so that's the only small issue. But
That's true.
he also, his mill has been abysmal. He did not hit Fairy Tale Snow. He's hit 1 Lightsworn.
Wow, that's incredibly bad.
Yeah, but he still has raid, and like his hand's still fine. It's just that that card could have just won the game.
That's
for him.
true. He drew rated, so he
Yeah.
could summon
He
it.
also likely has a bunch of hits on top now.
Effects, not two.
Like I can see Double Wolf right here. That's one.
No
Oh.
effects.
Close.
Yep. I was hoping.
42.
This is just going to get wiped out by a Mirror Force effect, but it looks like he's going to exceed a little more. Ooh, is that an Ultra Minerva? Nope,
Minerva?
only Super.
Effects.
See Summon Minerva, activate its effect. Crooks says to halt. Probably has Dimensional Barrier set, considering that.
He activates Dimensional Barrier, chaining it to Minerva's effect.
Battle phase. 2000.
Storming Mirror Force returns Wolf to the hand and Minerva to the extra deck.
Yeah, that's actually huge, because now he's just stuck with a dead wolf.
Yeah, he'd rather that be in the graveyard so he can use it to add to the Lightsworn count to summon Judgment Dragon.
Does he have Fairy Tale Snow? Did he hit a Fairy Tale Snow? I didn't see. Oh, he
yes,
did.
he
Jeez. Okay,
Okay, so that's not
yeah,
bad.
That's much better.
Can Fairy Tale Snow put your own monsters face down?
It can, but
well-
you don't have to activate the effect.
Okay. No, but he could have chained it to the Storming Mirror Force, summoned it in defense mode, and put Wolf down or Minerva
n-
down, right?
No, because it would have to activate a new chain.
Oh, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. The chain would have to resolve.
Yep.
You're right. Snow would hit
But
the
no,
field.
I've thought about that before, too.
Yeah. Snow
Yeah.
would hit the field. Storming Mirror Force would return the monsters, and then you can use Snow's
Yep.
effect.
Draws Forbidden Chalice. Not going to do it.
Good call.
Yep. Sidle needs any monster. Not a monster.
And it's an
Just gonna
instant
set it
fusion. He
and
can't
attack.
activate. Yeah.
Activated.
Can't activate it.
Once again, and that's the second time, so he's probably receiving...
Again, it's a procedural error minor. It's a warning. Have
Yeah.
you received a procedural error minor
I have
trophy in
not.
the tournament? All right, do not do that again.
Battle phase.
Yep, 300. And now he knows he has to face down an Instant Fusion the following turn, and it is different dimension. That is not going to do
way
anything.
too late.
Crooks has nothing going on. Sidle manages to mind game him to oblivion
All he has to do
by
is
siding out his Zodiacs. All he has to do is not activate that spell card and not receive a game loss
receive a
and just
warning for
declare
it,
attack.
yeah.
And that's it.
Snow attacks, and Crooks picks up his cards.
Yep.
Chase Sidle takes a 2-0 victory over Kamal Crooks with his invoked Lightsworn deck.
Yeah, and that's super unfortunate because I think Lullaby of Obedience is probably going to be, at the end of this weekend, you know, could go into top 32. I'm sure a few versions of this deck will make it, right? And as soon as that happens, I think Lullaby of Obedience is going to be the best card in the tournament because there's only 3
You think
players.
so?
They're likely playing Zodiac cards, right? But Sidle has managed to just next
Yes.
level Crooks into nothing.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone use a Lullaby, any card, as ineffectively as Crooks used
Ineffectively, the
Lullaby
result
of
was
Obedience.
ineffective, but he
The
did what
result,
he needed
yeah.
to do.
But he paid 2,000 life points to look through his opponent's deck.
Twice.
Twice.
Yep.
4,000 life points.
Not the best deal.
Yeah, I'm sure other duelists have used it with more success, but certainly that feature match, we did not get to see that.
Definitely not.
So, Judgment Dragon coming back in the Lightsworn.
Yeah, we didn't get to see it hit the
strategy.
table, but I think this is super cool. Just, you know, a bunch of enablers, like ways to banish Eclipse Wyvern to add the Judgment Dragon. You play a solid amount of Lightsworns. This is a pretty cool deck. So, and it's especially cool because you can just get lucky off one that grass looks greener and win the game.
Yes.
Yeah, like, it's just crazy. Anyways,
All right.
that's all we got for you this round. Make sure you stay tuned for the next one.
Round
see you
8 is
soon.
coming up.
We start when we are done.
All right, so looking at the two lists, Furman has, looks like just pretty standard.
Foolish Burial
Zodiac.
Goods is a
No
spell card with a
Kaiju
very
in his
simple
main
effect.
deck.
But why it's good is
no
a little bit more
artifacts either.
complicated. When you
Interesting.
play Foolish Burial Goods, you can send any spell or trap card directly from your deck to your graveyard. Why would you want to do that? Well, there are a lot of spell and trap cards out there that have useful effects when you play them from the graveyard. You might be thinking of cards like Skill Prisoner or Galaxy Cycle and Breakthrough Skill, cards that you play once for their main effect and then get another similar but a little weaker effect from the graveyard on your next turn. Those are not what you want to send to the graveyard with Foolish Burial Goods. What you're looking for are cards that have effects that you can use right away, and that are frequently better than the effects you get for playing them. Here's a couple examples. If you're a fan of Spiral or Subterrors, you might be familiar with Spiral Mission Assault and Subterror Behemoth Burrowing. Both of these cards are pretty good when you play them normally, but once they're in the graveyard, they get an incredibly useful ability towards setting up your strategy. Problem is, these are both, well, this is a continuous card and this is a trap, so you can't really get it into your graveyard when it'd be most useful to you at the start of the duel. Unless you use Foolish Burial Goods. With that, you can send either of these cards directly from your deck to the graveyard. If you send Behemoth Burrowing, you can banish it from your graveyard to flip one of your Subterror monsters face down. That's something that Subterror decks struggle with a lot in the early game, so you can summon one of your nemesis, like Archer or Warrior, play Foolish Burial Goods to send Burrowing to the graveyard, and then flip it face down so that you can special summon Subterror Behemoth from your hand. Then there's Spiral Mission Assault. One of the challenges for Spirals is getting enough special summons in the early game. For example, you want to be able to both, say, summon Spiral Gear Drone from your hand, and summon Super Agent, and summon Spy Gal Misty all in the same turn. And normally, you would not be able to do that. But if you have Foolish Burial Goods, you can send Spiral Mission Assault to the graveyard, or you can banish it to special summon one of the spirals from your hand. It's also useful in another fan favorite strategy that's going to get a lot more fans really soon, and that is Fluffles. Toy Vendors, it's alright when you play it as a regular continuous spell, but when it goes to the graveyard, you get to search your deck for any Fluffle monster or Edge Imp Sabers and add it straight to your hand. Being able to skip the middleman of finding a discard outlet or anything like that is a huge boon for Fluffle players. Fans of Yugi's cards are probably also going to be fans of Foolish Burial Goods. Magician Navigation is a card that's great whether you play it normally or just send it straight to the graveyard. When you activate it, summons Dark Magician from your hand and a Dark Spellcaster level 7 or lower from your deck. When it's in the graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish it to negate a spell or trap card your opponent plays. Sending it to the graveyard on your own turn might seem a little counterintuitive since you can't use it right away, but what you really want it for is to negate your opponent's spell and trap cards during their own turn. So not being able to use it on your own turn is not really that big a deal. It's also good if you're a fan of Silent Magician and Silent Swordsman, Little Yugi's cards. These guys were from Rivals of the Pharaoh. But they also came with their own attack spells, Silent Burning and Silent Sword Slash. And each of these attack spells also doubles as a search card. But the problem is you weren't able to actually play them without already having a monster on the field to target with them. Foolish Burial Goods lets you skip that, send them straight to the graveyard where you can banish them to search out Silent Swordsman or Silent Magician. I had a Phantom Knight deck a while back that used Silent Swordsman and Foolish Burial Goods. It was pretty darn good. And speaking of Phantom Knights, Foolish Burial Goods is great with Phantom Knights. Their whole thing is that they have all these cards that you can play from the graveyard for more good effects. You know, Phantom Knight's Sword, Fogblade, Wing. I probably would not send Fogblade to the graveyard unless I absolutely had to, because that's definitely a card you want to get both uses out of. But something like Wing or Sword to make sure that you can get an instant special summon without having to wait a turn to use the traps is extremely useful. Speaking of traps, I don't know that this will actually happen in practice, but you can also send something like a Paleozoic card to the graveyard so that you can activate a trap and immediately special summon it back out. It's a neat little application that could lead to a lot more Paleozoic Seas monsters and toads down the line. So there are really a ton of different options that you have for Foolish Burial Goods. I didn't even go through all of them. There are just so many of them. So if you have a spell or trap that you like playing, but you wouldn't mind seeing it go straight to the graveyard so that you can use it later, this could be the card you're looking for. Talk to you next time.
Hello and welcome back to round 4 of YCS Atlanta. This round we got some exciting new strategies. True King Yang Zing
That's something we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so very similar to the Metalfoes Yang Zing deck, using True Kings rather than Metalfoes as an enabler to destroy your Yang Zings and get to Jiaotao, which will then get you more monsters. And Jiaotao is like a key combo starter that just gets you going. Danglong, probably the strongest synchro monster printed in so long. It's amazing. And it looks like he's going to line up against Zodiac with a few tech cards. The whole Lunalight, Black Sheep, along with Fusion Substitute package gives you an additional common draw card. But it looks like our duelists are down at the table, ready to start, so let's get to it.
And both of these duelists are 3-0,
Yeah.
in case you're wondering.
Link summon as a reward unless they're gonna make a card that makes it like broken, but
I'm sure they will.
But like you can link summon if somebody has a warning. It's kind of for nothing.
Okay. Yep. All right. Let's.
Cider's going first.
I got some dice.
I do too.
So, Lunalight, Black Sheep, Fusion Substitute.
Yes.
Lunalight, Black Sheep is a Beast Warrior, so it can be searched off Broad Bull and Tenki. So that's the way you get it to your hand. And then you were saying you Fusion Substitute to fuse your monsters for Norden the difficult way.
Yes. So this deck actually fusion summons Norden without instant fusion.
And then I assume it just makes another copy of Daigusto Emerald to shuffle back whatever resources you've used, and then you get a draw off of the Fusion Substitute.
Yes. The fusion substitute has an added effect where you can shuffle it into your. Let's see. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one fusion monster in your graveyard and return it to the extra deck to draw a card.
Okay.
So the fusion substitute itself becomes a card draw. The Broad Bull becomes a search for the Lunalight, Black Sheep, which becomes a search for the fusion substitute, which becomes a draw card. So it's a very convoluted way to turn your Broad Bull search into card draw instead of a Beast Warrior search. Maybe we'll see the combo, and if we see it in action, we can check it out and follow step by step.
Yep.
But bottom line is using Lunalight, Black Sheep, and Fusion Substitute, you can trade your Beast Warrior search for extra cards from your deck at random. So.
Level between 1 to 6.
All right, so it looks like Collins has opened up with Speedboard Terror Top.
And of course, you search for Tekedenborg, right?
Of course not, actually. Red-eyed dice.
Aha.
Yep, so that is the tuner enabler that he will need most likely for TG Hyper Library, and that's when you know something unfair is going to happen. When they start off for TG Hyper Library, he has instant fusion already, so that means he can make a Danglong.
Oof, this is about to get crazy.
Oh, it is about to get crazy, and I'm so excited. Even without that, he still has Paw of Desires in his hand for the end of his combo because he's already able to start it. He doesn't want to Paw of Desires mid-combo unless he starts bricking. So it's probably just going to be at the end to, find a couple more traps. He also already has 2 Yang Zing cards in his hand for him to discard.
Wow. So he instant fuses for Norden, brings back the dice.
Yep.
Summons Danglong as you predicted.
Yep. And Danglong will now send a Yang Zing to the graveyard to change its level. Oh, nope. First he will search a Yang Zing. Yep.
That's 9 pillars of Yang Zing.
Yeah, that is one new card that made the Yang Zing Metalfoes deck so much stronger. It was basically a searchable counter trap that was just better than, I believe the only one that he played was Zephyr Strike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's just going into Zolkin. This is...
Oh, wow. And then now he gets to use Danglong's effect.
Yep. He's going for Bixie.
Pixie?
Yes.
He has plenty of cards to set, so Ultimate Zulkin's effect will activate.
Yep.
So by setting 1, he now gets to special summon a dragon from his extra deck, and he chooses Crystal Link Synchro Dragon.
Yep, pretty good dragon choose. And he still has 2 copies of 9 Pillar. So let's see what else he'll do. Yep. Zara uses normal summon on the die, but counts out 10. Draws, looks like Chiwin and something, maybe Beyond actually.
You could just kind of do a quick flash to
See.
kind of see of this.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
All right, so what he banished looks like a bunch of trap cards and Zefraxi, or Zephraniu, not Zefraxi. So yeah, this isn't like a super dedicated combo version, but it just tries to do enough of a combo and sort of ride that out.
Yeah.
Danglong being able to search a counter trap and then produce a Jiao is crazy. Or produce whatever Yang Zing you need to tribute off and just do more stuff. It's hard to beat a Crystal Wing through 2 back row.
Yeah, especially when those back rows can negate anything.
Yeah.
Spell trap or monster effect.
Yeah.
So Colin, rather, Betzig summons his own Tekettenborg.
Speedroid Terror Top.
Terror Top.
Yep.
He gets Tekettenborg. Or he had the Tekettenborg actually already. So
Yep,
he doesn't
no
get
effect,
anything.
unfortunately.
Yeah. He uses Invoker's effect, but loses out to Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which negates it and destroys the Invoker. Betzig summons Whiptail. He's in trouble.
Yep.
His Dimensional Barrier, Solemn Strike, and Zodiac combo in hand, but
I feel like the Kaijus are actually very strong in this version of True King Yang Zing too. Like if you Kaiju one of the, like Crystal Wing for example, that's big, but if you Kaiju a Yang Zing and then turn off both their 9 pillars,
ooh,
that's a big deal. Then all you need to do is bait Crystal Wing once or just clear their field with something.
that would be strong.
Yeah, just Kaiju into a Sweeper, for example, like Kaiju into Dark Hole, Raigeki, Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Oh, not that one, but we'll see.
So he summons Borbo over Whiptail, attacks directly for 1200. Upgrades into Broadbull, uses its effect.
I'm going to get 9 pillared. That's going to destroy Bixie, and Collins will get to special summon a different Yang Zing from his deck in attack position. So we'll see which one it is.
So now his second 9 pillars is online.
Yep. Looks like he was going to choose Swanee. Just giving his deck a look.
Swanee seems like a good one. That's the one with 1900 attack. Is that right?
That's the 1900
Yeah.
attack, 0 defense, fire.
Broadway's effect
So.
negated with path.
Pillar's supposed to back in the deck.
Okay. And then
Okay. They're just correcting a slight gameplay error where Pillars shuffles the card and negates back into the deck.
Yeah. That Swanee's supposed to be in attack position, but not the biggest error. It's probably either getting synchroed with, used as a material, or attacking anyway. So
Yes. It's certainly not relevant, but
yeah, but still, we'll try to
Oh,
inform someone.
he fixed it.
Boom.
go to battle.
Or he just switched the position manually.
He definitely just switched the position manually, but it's okay. Yep, he's just going to try to end this in 2 turns. He still has another 9 pillar set.
He has nothing to set to kick off the Ultimized Ulkins effect. So
My 31 is 58. Got it.
Oh, 10 key off the block. That's a good one.
that's not bad. I mean, he still has to contend with Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon.
That is true.
Yes.
Oh, Collins is going to respond with.
Ooh.
That's an interesting sequence.
It's, yes. So Collins activated the effect of his Swanee to try to synchro summon.
Yeah.
Betzig chained
I don't know
Dimensional
how
Barrier.
He's going to, wait, what? So he has to, if he wants to.
Swanee tries to resolve, but you don't have any tools.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Betzig used
Yeah, so-
Dimensional Barrier to name synchros, right? And
yeah,
then
yeah. And then it was negated by 9
Collins-
pillars. But then,
Yeah.
because Swanee tries to resolve without a tuner in play, it just doesn't work.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yes.
Because Chi-Win won't activate until a new chain, which is when Beyond comes out.
Yes. But the important thing is now Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon's effect is online,
Yes.
Hold on.
whereas Dimensional Barrier would have shut it off, in
So
addition to
that was
preventing
chain link
the
1 was
summon.
Destiny, chain link 2, D barrier, chain link 3 was 9 pillars.
Yeah.
So Chi-Win should miss timing because as soon as somebody tries to resolve at the end of the chain,
Even if it was
it's
lost.
destroyed in the middle of the chain link.
Yeah.
It's a when you can effect.
Oh, that is also right.
You're right. Okay.
Yang Zing is one of the few monsters in
Huh?
the modern era that use when you can effects.
Removes dimensional barrier from the chain link, but Susani still tries to resolve.
So yeah, you're right. So because
Because basically, okay, so it doesn't matter that it was Chain Link 2 or higher. Normally, the 9 pillars would negate and remove whatever from the Chain Link below it so that your Yang Zing would still resolve. But because he started with Suwani,
Right.
and then the Dimensional Barrier, and then the 9 pillars, the Suwani still needs to try to resolve, which cuts off the Chi win.
Excellent. That's a very good catch by our feature match judge.
Yes.
Low pricing.
Attach.
Yeah, from deck. That's a card.
Sure.
Betsig presses on. He uses Zodiac combo to give his Tiger Mortar an extra material.
Yep, whip tail.
Whip tail.
Is that an effect to attach?
What this?
No, it's getting attached off that. Right. Yeah.
Effective summon red.
Strike.
Ooh.
Yeah, this this lined up exactly how I wanted to. That's crazy.
Yeah. Crystal Wing tried to negate the effect of the Whiptail, trying to special summon a Rat here, but lost out to Solemn Strike, and now Collins is down to just his Ultimate Zulkin in defense mode, which has 0 attack and defense points, and Suwani in attack mode.
Yeah, but Betsig is only at 1,600, and I think Collins still has Jiao Tao in his hand with a couple Yang Zings.
So he might,
So he might be able to
end
press
it.
back.
Yeah.
Effect search. Yeah.
It's going to be close.
Yeah, it also just depends what Betsig draws off of Daigusto Emerald or whatever rank 4 he chooses to summon.
Oh,
here we
that's
go.
right. He's running the sheep,
Lunalight
black
Black
sheep combo.
Yep, so now we get to see it in action.
Yep. So he searches for Lunalight Black Sheep, special summons another Rat here, then trades in his Black Sheep for Fusion Substitute, which is treated as polymerization.
Sure.
Probably going to make Daigusto Emerald. Yes. So he uses Emerald's effect, so that's going to get him his first card draw of the turn.
Target red monkey.
That is not a monkey. That is indeed a boar. However, we'll let it slide. Monkey is not yet with us. Soon, though. Soon we will have him.
Soon. So he draws one.
How many cards do you have? 3? 4.
Every zoo needs a monkey.
I see, right?
Right? Betsig played out of Collins' strong opening very well.
Yeah, I feel like also, I don't know how strong of an opening Collins even really had. I feel like he could have done more somehow. Like, couldn't it, like maybe getting a Jiao Tao at the end instead of Bixie and discarding cards, but maybe I'm just
I mean, he
wrong or
summoned
missing
Ultimate
something.
Zulkin.
Yeah, but it just felt like he could have extended his combo further. But
So-
maybe, like I'm not super experienced with the Yang Zing combo deck.
Yes.
So
So here's the Lunalight
oh no,
Black
it's
Sheep
because Jiao Tao
combo.
needs no other monsters in play, so he couldn't
Okay.
actually extend it further.
So here's the Black Sheep combo. He now fusion substitutes for Norden, uses Norden's effect to special summon Rat here, and then combines his 2 monsters to summon Broad Bull.
Yeah.
So he actually just fusion summoned Norden the hard way by combining his on-field Broad Bull and Emerald. Detaches Inixi's material to special summon a Rat from his deck. Obviously, there's still 2 in the deck because he just sent them back with Emerald.
Yep.
And he did not draw 1 off Emerald's effect. I think he drew a Solemn Strike.
Yep. And here it can Dryden special summon the second one, and then likely Daigusto Emerald back.
Yep.
Both the Rats and the other Daigusto Emerald, I would assume.
And he hasn't used his Fusion Substitutes effect in the graveyard yet to send Norden back.
Yep. So he'll get to
draw
draw
a card.
2 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's already drawn 1 with an Emerald.
Yep.
So,
Fusion effect.
Yep. Thought Coach King was the only way to draw thrice, but
nope, he's doing
Betsig
it.
showing us the other way.
So now he's using he used his Fusion Substitute, drew Zodiac Barrage by sending Norden back.
That's a good one. But I don't think he plays Ram Ram or any sort of extender. Or if he drew another Zodiac card, he could get Throw a Blade, but I don't think that his other card in the hand isn't a Zodiac card, right? It's a trap card. Solemn Strike,
yeah,
probably.
Solemn Strike, yeah. So now, does he make Emerald? Looks like he's contemplating which rank 4 to make. And it is indeed Emerald.
Activate the affected Emerald. Collins quickly checked to make sure Emerald wasn't once per turn.
Yeah,
It is just each one can activate its effect
Yes.
once per turn.
it's not. You can only use the effect of Daigusto Emerald once per turn.
Right.
It's not a hard once per turn.
Yep.
So after seeing it in action, how do you feel about the Luna Light Black Sheep combo?
I was just thinking about that. I like it because it's just 2 cards. That
Yeah.
is the appeal thus far.
Yeah,
However, I could easily see drawing those cards at any
Yeah.
other point being abysmal.
Yeah, then wondering, why am I playing this?
Yeah, I guess drawing them actually isn't like that bad though, because you're just searching them anyway, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm searching them, that
Yes.
just means my search can be used on Whiptail instead.
That's
Because
true.
I think like instead of, it's not just that you're getting an extra 2 draws off of this combo, but one of those draws is in place of a Whiptail.
Yeah.
So you actually only go up 1 extra card. You get a random card instead of Whiptail, and you get to draw 1 card.
Right.
And I don't know, Whiptail's actually just pretty strong. Like, all the interactions Whiptail gives you is huge.
Yeah, it is strong, but it's not a dimensional barrier or the
You're right, yeah.
opportunity
If
to
you,
draw a
I think it's
dimensional
good if you don't
barrier.
have, like, a stopper in your hand,
Yeah.
right? But if I don't have a stopper, then maybe, like, I guess with the Coach King combo, you can't use your normal summon, that's the big difference. But I think it's fine. Like, I wouldn't be against it. If I was playing a bigger Zoo deck, for example, like a bigger Zodiac deck, I would definitely run it. Like, we were talking earlier about, like, the 60-card versions that don't use that Grass's Greener just to counter that Grass's Greener strategies. I would definitely include both those cards in my deck. Easy. I'm just trying to get to 60 cards, right? But in the standard one, I don't know.
So Barrage summons Thoroughblade from the deck by destroying Tenki, then Emerald attacks and destroys Ultimate Zolkin.
Yeah, I'd also be interested to see what additional interactions you get with Zodiac, or the Luna Light card and Fusion Substitute with the Invoked cards. If there's some like weird things you can do with that combination, then I think it could be cool. But thus far, I don't know. I feel like drawing I would just rather have trap cards in those places, because like that way, if I draw one of these cards and say it's just a trap card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Collins activates Pop Desires, matches the top 10 cards of his deck. Do you change Rydant's effect there to destroy Swanee?
How many cards are in your main deck?
Looks like he didn't. It looks like you drew his 2, but just to make sure Swanee's effect doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the worst, but I think you could also hold up your Dryden to disrupt like something that matters.
Something more
right? Yeah.
relevant.
Because like, yeah, you're trading Dryden for their monster, sort of whatever, right? But like disrupting them at a key place might be good. Oh, so a key, True King coming down. This is the Fathomer. This is the best True King monster.
True King Barastos, the Fathomer.
Yeah, so this one says you destroy 2 monsters. One has to be a water, so that's why I used Bixie to special summon it. And then when it is destroyed, you get to special summon a non-water worm from your deck. The other 2 special summon worms from the graveyard. This one's the best one because it special summons from the deck, so you get to immediately find a Jiao. But it doesn't really matter because he's destroying the Yang Zings anyway. He's going to get their effects. They only get the additional effect if both monsters that are destroyed are the same attribute. So because he only destroyed 1 water in Bixie, he won't get any additional effects. I also feel like the way this card is written is pretty confusing.
So now this is, but basically all of them require you to destroy 2 other monsters in your hand or face up on your field.
Yeah, including one of the same attribute.
Yeah, one has to match the attribute, but then there's a secondary effect you only get if you match both attributes.
Right.
And,
And
they
then
all
it has a third effect if it is destroyed.
Right. So once you get the hang of how the True Kings work in general, it's easy to understand all of them. Now here's the interesting question for Betzig. Does he Solemn Strike it? I guess not.
I don't see why. It's sort of a big monster. You want to Solemn Strike something that matters.
Well, if it attacks Emerald, he can't Solemn Strike anymore.
Well, he also special summon in defense.
He did. That is true. He did summon in defense, but why?
You got me.
Maybe we'll see why.
Yeah. Like right here, for example, probably Solemn Striking this Synchro Summon. Kriston guy, I assume. Or nope, Danglong. Never mind. I thought he summoned Beyond. Oh, Beyond plus Jiao is 5, so that is Danglong. For a second, I thought that was only 4.
I'll strike this out.
Yeah, gotta strike that.
Now
Yeah, that's
Betsy
enough
goes up
for-
to 100 life
Yeah,
points.
Collins. Yeah, but that's enough for Collins to concede. Because he actually just can't do anything else after that.
What was Betsig's back row?
Bet6 back, it didn't matter. He had the Collins just couldn't do anything else.
What if Collins' True King were in attack mode?
They would get Dridented.
It would
They
get
attacked.
turned. That is a good point.
And also, the only monster that he could attack over for attack in attack mode was Dagusto Emerald, and that matches at even with the Fathomer.
Okay, so that was a. It was close since Collins.
Collins
got
opened up pretty
Bets-
well,
yeah.
but it was just not enough.
Yeah, and he got Betsig down to 100 life points, but couldn't make the final push to end it.
Yeah. Did he get him down to 1,000 or
It was
100
he was at
or he was at 16, right?
but then he struck. You saw him strike.
Where are my Yang Zing sides? I don't know.
So,
Yeah.
so should be 100 life points.
Is definitely correct math.
Yeah.
16 minus 15 is 1.
All right, so 100 life points. Maybe there's something in that duel he could have done differently to get
For the X 100?
Collins down to
I
100
mean,
life
probably.
points
Wait.
more. Whenever a duel is that close, you always think, there's got to be something I could have done
Yeah.
to push 100 more life points at one point or another.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if, he got a Chi win, right, trying to do the Synchro Summon thing. If he would have just gotten a monster with attack, maybe that would have mattered, or
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
He got the Chi win off of 9 pillars anyway, so it's not like he got a battle phase with it, I guess. Yeah, this deck is definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely a very cool deck that Collins is playing.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything
I actually
like
think
it.
it's well. I think it's pretty similar to the other
Metalfoes.
Yang Zing. But I actually think this one is a little less complicated in some ways, or at least the way Collins built it is much more of a standard deck than a combo deck. He has a lot of trap cards, like 11 of them.
Collins. I just noticed this now. Collins is main decking Lullaby of Obedience.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Why?
Speedroid Terror Top.
Just take their Terror Top. I guess he's that reliant on it.
Yep.
Because he can get the dice, make.
The Speedroid Terror Top is just probably one of the best, right behind like Rat Pierre and Maxi. It's got to be up there in best monsters right now.
I
Right?
guess but Collins isn't even using Tekenenborg.
No, but he just gets dice, and then he normal
Yeah.
summons dice, and then he
Top
starts
for
his
dice.
combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I didn't notice that it was in the main deck, and I don't know if I've seen it main decked before.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have either. So.
Pick out this?
You can also choose
I know you're on.
Rat Pierre. Even though he doesn't have any copies of Rat Pierre in his deck, he does have Zodiacs in his extra deck. He can just call Rat
Really?
Pierre, get their Rat Pierre, and start stacking on top of it. He's got Borbo, Tire Mortar, and Dryden.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like he's thought about this deck a lot.
Yeah.
In building it.
He also has Gravity Collapse in
I-
his side deck.
I-
Welcome back to round 8 of YCS Atlanta. We have Zodiac against Metalfoes. We haven't seen much Metalfoes this tournament, but it is another very powerful strategy, possibly the best deck prior to Raging Tempest. You
Yes.
can also use the Zodiac engine very well, very good at making rank 3s, so you get Invoker and just go from there. Also, I feel like we lived in months and months and months where Pendulum Summoning was just the most powerful thing you can do. And even though there's a lot of other things going on, Pendulum Summoning has not gotten that much worse.
Yeah, it's still strong. After the release of the Zodiacs, a lot of players were aiming to continue using the Metalfoes since that
Yeah.
was their main deck prior to the release of the Zodiacs in Raging Tempest. But Wen is the highest ranking Metalfoes competitor right now in the tournament, and he is dueling against Steven Krong in this feature match.
Yep.
Ready to duel.
So, Trong's deck looks pretty standard at first, but some pretty cool things about it. He has 2 main deck copies of Chain Disappearance, which is a huge breakout tech card this
Wow.
weekend. Yeah, and main decking it means you get to hit Decatrons, you get to hit Alistair, you can hit Rat Pierre. All insane.
Wow, he's
Yep.
also using 2 copies of Needle Sealing,
Yes,
which is
something we
another
saw,
card I haven't seen this weekend.
We saw Jeff Jones and Max Reynolds. Max Reynolds made the top 4 of YCS Seattle with main deck Needle Sailing. So, yeah, just another Torrential Tribute-esque effect, another board clear. This weekend, I think we've seen a bit more Forbidden Apocrypha, or at least I have walking around, than Needle Sealing, because it plays a very similar role.
Yeah.
But regardless, similar effect.
Trong uses Forbidden Apocrypha in his side deck.
Yeah.
He does main deck Torrential Tribute to go along with his 2 Needle Sealings.
Yeah. Probably just because Needle Sealing can hit more things than a Forbidden Apocrypha can. But Forbidden Apocrypha cannot be stopped by cards like My Body's a Shield or Starlight Road, because it sends the monsters to the graveyard instead. So that's a pretty big deal. Because wide destruction effects are so popular, cards like Starlight Road and My Body have huge value right now.
Wow, that was a terrible hand for Win. He opens with Metalfoes Fusion, Full Metalfoes Fusion, and Metalfoes Counter.
3 one-ofs. He only
Yes.
plays 1 copy of each fusion, 1 copy of each Metalfoes trap, just so he doesn't draw them, and he's likely to draw a hand dense with Metalfoe monsters, but not the case. Let's see how a good Trong start is. He begins with Zodiac Rat Pierre. Does he activate its effect? No.
That's a Thoroughblade.
Oh, sorry,
Yes.
Thoroughblade. My bad.
I might be wrong, actually. Yeah, Win might have 2 of the Metalfoes trap cards and 1 spell. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, it's really terrible.
Yeah.
'Cause
The
you
Trong
don't-
starts with Thoroughblade.
Yeah.
No, not even a discard, so that means he's got nothing else. He's going to swing for 16, probably upgrade into Broad Bull or Borbo and then Broad Bull in main phase 2 to try to find a Rat Pierre.
Trong actually
if
has...
Nguyen lets him do it.
Trong actually has Barrage, Twin Twisters, 2 Forbidden Chalice, and Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit in hand.
That's interesting. So he's just going to try to grind through Nguyen's back row because it looks scary.
Yes. Even though he really could have used Barrage, got the Rat, and continued.
Yep, looks like Nguyen's going to respond to the summon of Tiger Mortar with full Metalfoes Fusion. Drop his 2 Metalfoes for
Alakest.
Alcahest.
So Alakest can absorb that Tiger Mortar.
Yep, but Trong has Forbidden
interrupt.
Chalice, so
Yes.
not going to be that good. Yep, Alcahest is one of the most powerful, one of the big reasons why we saw Metalfoes do so well last format.
Yes.
Was the combination of Alcahest and Mithrilium. I think Mithrilium was probably the better one, but Alcahest definitely played a role in terms of disruption.
Yeah. Alakest has that disruptive effect similar to the role Dryden plays in the Zodiac decks in situations like this, because right now Trong is trying to go off with Tiger Mortar, and Alakest can just absorb it as a shield.
At this point, do you think you just Twin Twister?
I
feel like it might be
as well,
worthwhile.
right?
Like, you could go a little further if you wanted to and try to, like, bait a dimensional barrier. But if your opponent was for whatever reason, like, holding a strike, they would definitely strike now. But after this goes through, I would definitely slam Twin Twister.
Now, why didn't Win use Alakest right there?
He did. He got Forbidden Chalice.
Oh, he did get Chalice. I thought I missed that.
And no, Trong has 2 copies, so.
So Trong upgrades Tiger Mortar into Broad Bull and uses Broad Bull's effect to get Wrap here.
Yep. I think now is when I would Twin Twisters.
Seems good to make sure your
But,
grinding goes off.
I mean, maybe Trong has the read that they're just not that good of cards in the back, and you'd rather save his Twin Twisters for, continuous spells or something.
So it
I
is
don't know.
counter and combination down there.
Yeah.
He didn't have Metalfoes Fusion. He had full Metalfoes Fusion and his other 2 Metalfoes traps. Good on him to not use Twin Twisters, because he would only be helping Win by getting rid of his combination, which would allow him to search for any Metalfoes.
Yeah, but still not the best if he's able to just Dryden the scale the following turn. Now he's forced to Dryden the Volflame.
Yeah, that's true. But that's far from bad.
Right, but the difference between your opponent, trying to do something with scales and you have a disruption versus you have a 2800 card that you need to answer, right?
That's true. And Win
But-
can also get the Volflame back from his extra deck with counter. So Volflame attacks, and Trong is going to use Dryden's effect to destroy it and send it face up to Win's extra deck. Win drew Dimensional Barrier, but it's way too late for that. He brings Volflame back now.
Plays at a scale.
You don't have to put the scales. You can just put them there, like there, and there. That's fine. Good.
uses combination. So now he can use Volflame to destroy combination, which would allow him to set his last remaining Metalfoes card, Metalfoes Fusion, from his deck, and then combination will let him search for anything. But Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit puts an end to it.
Yep.
Destroys Volflame. He doesn't get
End
to
phase,
destroy
you just Twin
combination.
Twister, and it should be done.
Do you destroy combination or?
No. I mean, it's probably just game, right? Wins
Okay,
just
yeah.
at 6,900. You already have it Dryden up with a Throw Blade on it. You can stack Tiger Mortar, and that's it.
Yeah. So it's over.
Tiger Mortar, do your full combo. Gaga Samurai.
Yeah. So
Barrage, too.
no need to destroy combination. Trong activates Barrage, destroys it to search his deck.
Yep. Nguyen just hoping a meteor crashes through the convention center and right onto Trong, narrowly missing him.
Maybe lightning will strike him like in Joey's duel against Odeon.
Yeah. I hear Thunder King is running around, so, those crazy kaiju.
The lightning strike kaiju.
Yeah, you never know.
So he special summons, Trong special summons another Thoroughblade from his deck. Upgrades it into Borbo. Upgrades it into Tiger Mortar. Uses Tiger Mortar's effect to swap the Borbo with a Rat Pier from his graveyard as an Xyz material. And then uses Tiger Mortar's effect to special summon a Rat Pier from his deck by detaching the Thoroughblade. Upgrades Tiger Mortar into Broadbull, uses Broadbull's effect to detach Tiger Mortar, and special summons another Rat Pier from his deck, then uses Broadbull's other effect, the one that wasn't granted by Rat Pier, to add a Whiptail to his hand. So it looks like, let's see. He's probably going to make Gaga Samurai, right? So that's 38 from there. That's exactly what he does. So Samurai's 38, Dryden 16. So that's 54 plus 12 from. Yeah, Whiptail would be 66. So he'll be 300 short of beating Win this turn.
I thought he had it. Maybe I just did my math wrong, but
Yeah, it looks like he's a
I
little
don't
bit
know.
shy.
Like, did he normal summon?
I think so.
Oh, no, that's just it. Maybe my math was right. It's 2,800 plus 38. That's 66, right? Maybe the life point's wrong. I'm unsure. But 3,800 plus 1,600 is 5,400.
Right.
Plus 1,200 is
66.
6,600. So the life points were probably just wrong. I'm unsure.
Maybe.
But yeah, if Trong didn't normal summon, he could have just normal summoned the Whiptail, and that's an extra 12 because he gets to hit for 12 and put it under.
then
Because didn't he
attack.
just start with Barrage and that was it? Or did he Broad Bull for something else and go like that?
I don't remember if he normal summoned, but
Yeah, no, I don't think he did it because he started just with Barrage. So
yeah, but either way, even if Win got another turn, he would have had to somehow fight through a Trident that could still activate
yeah,
its
I mean, he
effect
also
on
just
Win's
had like
turn.
one card.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, he just had combination on the field, so that's
Yeah.
it. So no matter what he drew, like he couldn't draw a scale to destroy the combination because
it would
Trident would
need to
destroy
be
the
like
scale.
runner, like Desires into something, but I don't think he has any copies of Pot of Desires in his deck.
He does not. His only spells are a single Painful Decision, the Metalfoes Fusion, and the full Metalfoes
Yeah.
Fusion. That was a really awful hand for Win, though, because when you're running this deck, you really don't want to draw your Metalfoes spell and trap cards because
Yeah,
you want
that's
to be
why
able
we see
to-
them only play one copy of each.
Yeah, you want to be able to retrieve them from your deck
Yeah.
with the effects of the pendulum effects of your
Yeah.
Metalfoes monsters.
Also, that like your best hands are just 5 Metalfoes most of the time, or 4 Metalfoes plus like a trap card, etc. You just want a hand dense with Metalfoes.
Yes, because that allows you to build up your extra deck for a massive pendulum summon, and also grabs the spell and trap cards that you want from your deck with the effects of those Metalfoes, the pendulum effects.
Yeah. Talking a lot about extra deck sleeves this weekend. Those are my favorite sleeves in all of Yu-Gi-Oh.
The was that Yugi,
The Yugi,
Kaiba, and
Kaiba Joey sleeves.
Joey. Yeah.
They are definitely my favorite.
I don't see those often.
Yeah, unfortunate. They're super nice, super high quality, like surprisingly high quality for what they look like. Like those in the, I forget what they are, the red Time Gazer Stargazer sleeves. I feel like those are the sleeves I used a lot towards the end. My favorite sleeves were actually the ones with the regular card back on the back.
Yeah, those are really nice.
Yeah, but
I remember I got a
the
lot of
issue
packs
is
of
like
those.
quality-wise, it's just not up to par compared to like the newer WCQ sleeves or the newer sleeves they've released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never noticed. I always thought it was pretty good. I never had any issue.
You're
with
probably
them.
doing coverage by then. I was still dueling.
Yeah.
But
No, I used those sleeves. I remember those
Nice.
sleeves. I remember actually they had those in Japan before we had them in
yeah,
America.
they re-released them in
Yeah.
Japan, and they
And-
have the Konami logo on them now.
Yeah, and I remember in 2009 actually when I went to Worlds, I picked up those sleeves from a Japanese game store.
Nice.
So I had them before they came here, but then they came here, and I was very excited to buy several packs of them. They're hard to find now, so I wish I got more.
Oh yeah, what you have to do is get the Japanese ones now because they re-released them over there. But the American Pro ones are just long gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had like 350 something pre-regged, and then we ended up with 1,500, which is highly disproportionate for the normal.
There was a bunch of hotels around here that was also like completely booked because there were other events.
So let's see what we might see coming in from the side decks. Trong has 3 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance that I can guarantee will come in.
Yeah, we actually don't see that much of anti-spell fragrance anymore. It used to be a
Yeah.
side deck staple, and now pendulums are just so weak that people don't think you even need them.
Yeah,
Like between Dryden and all these cards, it's easy. And Dimensional Barrier.
Yeah, Anti-Spell Fragrance is an incredible card against pendulum-based decks, since you can't set a pendulum spell to the pendulum monster to the pendulum
it's
zone.
effectively a floodgate.
Yeah,
Like
so
they
yeah.
cannot do anything.
Yeah.
He also let's see, is this? Yeah. No, just anti-spell, right? I was actually looking at this list and being like, oh, he has Retaliating Sea, but
Yeah,
different deck.
Win has Retaliating Sea.
Yeah, I don't know. Other than anti-spell, though, it seems like he wouldn't sign in much else.
That might be it.
Yeah,
3
he could
Anti-Spell.
technically sign in Forbidden
Anti-Spell
Apocrypha and Call
Fragrance.
Fusion, right? But, like, that's not that good. Let's check out these hands.
Start adding to the hand like they're supposed to.
Zodiac Wrap here, 2 copies of Arching, Eccentric, Maxi, Metalfoes Fusion. So that's not the best hand, but it's solid. Maxi and Rapier alone can define a game. Is the best starter and the best stopper.
Yeah,
Next to Dimensional Barrier or Sanctum, maybe.
not a single Metalfoes monster coupled with a Metalfoes Fusion, though, is
Yeah, a little
extraordinarily
rough.
weak from a
Well,
Metalfoes deck.
is this most Metalfoes decks typically use the Bearman combo, but it doesn't look like Nguyen's choosing to use it, so that's interesting. But most of them utilize the Bearman combo because they're more likely to draw Terror Top or a hand of Metalfoes, so they can make it Invoker, so they don't have to use their normal summon. So then their Bearman can actually come down and then draw 3 cards, because a lot of them aren't playing Zodiac combo and stuff like that. But he's completely chosen not to use Bearman and instead just use Dragoons of Draconia as his one target, which is interesting. Like in Seattle, we saw it was the standard was 1 Dragoons, 1 Bearman in every single Metalfoes list we saw.
Okay.
But
So,
not anymore.
yeah, he can get Whiptail or Dragoons of Draconia with
Yeah. Well, right
Yeah.
here, search Dragoons, for example. But
Yeah.
like Dragoon, usually these other decks that aren't Zodiac have like some techie Beast Warrior that they can search to sort of fix their hand in a different way if they don't want to go with the standard Zodiac play. But it's gonna be interesting to see what rank 4 he makes. Is it Daigusto Emerald? Does he have Daigusto Emerald?
He
in the extra
does.
deck? Yeah.
So we
So
might
he's
see
just
that.
playing. Yeah, I mean, I assume so. I don't know what other rank 4 he would want to make.
He's reaching for Daigusto Emerald, so it's probably that.
He's probably going to shuffle back Rapier, Borbo, I assume. 2 copies of Rapier and Borbo, of course. Oh, no, chose Broad Bull instead.
Interesting, because he only plays 1 Borbo.
He also only plays 1 Broad Bull.
Oh,
So that makes sense. Yeah, usually
Yeah.
you see them shuffle back the Borbo because they only play 1 Borbo. But Nguyen doesn't even play a second Broad Bull.
Yeah.
So
Space is tight in this deck because he has to make room for all of the Metalfoes fusions. He uses 1 Metalfoes Orichalc, 1 full Metalfoes Alakest, and 2 Metalfoes Mithrilium. So that's 4 spots dedicated to his Metalfoes engine.
he chooses Archfiend Stick Trick, his own Metalfoes Fusion, just so he gets an extra draw. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's kind of weak, though, right?
In some ways, like, because it's a pendulum monster, he can use it later. And if he really doesn't have, a stopper or anything, he wants more going on.
Yeah.
It makes sense. His hand wasn't the best. He has Maxi, and that's sort of the best thing. Like, that there, Bunbuku is huge. Because if he can stick a Kieran the next turn, like, Kieran is still probably the strongest pendulum monster out there right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So another
It looks like he's just going to pendulum it out now and make a rank 3 maybe. Search of Kieran.
Sure.
So Dragoons of Draconia is a 2 scale.
Yep.
Archfiend Eccentric is a 7 scale. So
I don't know what rank 3 he could make though, other than it seems like he can't make Totem Bird. Doesn't want to make Invoker. Oh, I guess he could make Invoker and Invoker for.
nope, he just passes his turn.
No, he just wants to search now. Might as well get your pendulum summons rolling.
Have some monsters on the field.
Yeah, defenses. Yeah, during the pendulum era, I feel like protecting yourself with your monsters was just a big thing. You didn't need traps. Just as long as you did not die, you could just pendulum summon again the next turn.
Yeah. Trong opens up with Thoroughblade to Kedemborg, Barrage, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Dimensional Barrier, and Torrential Tribute.
Yeah.
Summons Thoroughblade, and does not activate the effect.
Nope, doesn't want to discard Barrage. He's probably just going to force a Trident. But because Nguyen let through, Trong might just be incentivized to make a Trident of his own. I feel like that's probably the play to make, unfortunately, if you're trying to just make some trades. Or you're just going to force the Trident and do it after. That makes sense, too. You sort of have to waste your battle phase, but it seems worthwhile if you're trying to Trident into main phase 2, because if you Trident in main phase 2, you get an activation now and an activation later. Whereas now you're just trading Trident basically 1 for 1, or close to it. He can also not make himself skip a battle phase by exceeds for something like Tiger Mortar that wants to search, and maybe you beta Trident there.
Pause 1 moment.
But
I'll have to give you a warning for slow play. Have you received a slow play warning before this tournament?
No.
Okay, just try and keep up with pace, okay?
Just give us a little warning, gotta play a little faster. Didn't do much. Normal something Thoroughblade and just thought for a while, but
So Thoroughblade attacks Trident. Trident's effect activates to destroy Thoroughblade.
yeah. This game should just go to Nguyen because he has Maxi. It's going to be rough to get past this
very
because
likely.
Anti-Spell Fragrance is not good once your opponent has already set up scales.
Yeah.
And Dimensional Barrier is fine, and so is Torrential Tribute, but as long as Nguyen doesn't overcommit too much. Like, the one thing you can walk into is if he tries to do something where he gets Torrentialed and then wants to Pendulum Summon back and then gets Barriered. Like, that's sort of how he loses his game, but he's pretty far in control.
Yeah, and it's pretty hard because that won't help against Kieran and Bunbuku.
Yeah.
They can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, including
Yeah.
the effect of Torrential Tribute. So, Tron goes Whiptail into Trident, allowing Wind to draw another card with Max C. Then he sets Anti-Spell Fragrance, Dimensional Barrier, and Torrential Tribute to back up his defenses.
Yep. You got to start with Daigusto Emerald here, probably. Try to shuffle back that other rep here because you
Yeah,
drew a
why
rep
not?
here. And probably the other Xyz. Yeah, you can't just bank on drawing Maxi.
Yeah.
Trong lets it through, choosing to hold the Dimensional Barrier, hoping that that is the way he can swing himself back into this game. If he can manage to pull off a Torrential Tribute and then disrupt one scale with Dryden and then flip Anti-Spell, that could also
Maybe.
be a way to win.
It's going to be tough, though.
Yeah, it's super tough.
Terror Top off the top for a win.
Yeah.
Chain?
Oh, uses Archfiend
Gonna pop a
Eccentric's
scale
effect.
and then I assume activating Anti-Spell Fragrance.
As you predicted, Anti-Spell Fragrance comes up, and with
Yep.
only one Pendulum Scale in Wind's Pendulum Zone, he's unable to Pendulum Summon.
Yep, looks like Mbuku's going to come down. Unfortunately, this is not where you want Torrential Tribute, but
Yeah.
it only gets worse because Totem Bird is probably enough here to make things substantially worse.
Maybe. He might rather just have more monsters on the field to make sure he can summon Kieran next turn. He upgrades Trident into Borbo. Tron contemplates using Torrential Tribute. to destroy the Xyz monsters, but declines. Upgrades to Broad Bowl.
Now this is where you probably have to torrential tribute.
Yes.
You just lose too much by not using it.
Okay, but both Bunbukus survive because they cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects.
Yep, he's going to assemble Totem Bird plus Quaking Mirror Force probably. Oh, Break Sword. Break Sword can destroy the anti-spell. That's
Wow.
huge. But he
That
might
is
just Dimensional
big.
Barrier this.
I think he has to, right?
He opted not to.
Maybe he's going to call Pendulums on
Yeah, I mean,
Dimensional
that
Barrier.
has to be the plan.
So now he's got... Okay, so he activates Archfiend into Centric.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that, actually, because I feel like the difference is now you have your opponent with Pendulum Scales and you don't have anti-spell versus they just have a blank Break Sword.
I agree. I think he would be better off.
But I guess it
using-
depends how aggressive his hand is the following turn, too.
That was interesting there because Win
Also-
played Archfiend Eccentric, and then Trung had to use the barrier before the Archfiend Eccentric could use its effect to destroy the barrier, because if Trung hadn't done so, Win could have just declared a Pendulum Summon instead of using the Archfiend
That's also
Eccentric's
interesting.
effect. So Win got a little extra value out of that.
Yeah, I guess the problem with using Dimensional Barrier on Break Sword there, though, is because even though you don't see it often, because Break Sword is usually destroying itself, Break Sword only requires one material to use that effect. So if you can't clear the Break Sword the following turn, your anti-spell's just still going down.
That's true, and currently Trung can't. All he has is a Kedenborg.
Yeah.
So he's in
It
very
also
bad
makes it so
shape.
any spell he draws could potentially get him back into the game. Because otherwise the anti-spell would force him to just set it for a turn.
Well, that's how it was before Win summoned Totem Bird. Rat Pier, Tiger Mortar, Trident, and Trung is done.
I don't think he can really draw this from here. This is like one thing that made Pendulum so powerful before was it was a deck with inevitability.
Yes.
Its grind game was literally just its summoning mechanic. That's all you needed. You needed an extra deck and assembled scales. And once you get there, it's really hard to lose.
Yeah, so Win got there pretty quickly in that duel, so he was
Yeah.
able to
I mean, it was the difference between
overcome.
going first or second. If Tron goes first in that game, right, sets an anti-spell, has Dimensional Barrier, Torrential Tribute, and OK hand, that's probably it.
Yeah,
on its own.
definitely. If he could have flipped Anti-Spell Fragrance before Win could set up any Pendulum Scales, he likely would have won.
So should we take a look at side decks again? I don't think much is going to change from the last game other than cards going first versus cards going second, right?
Right, and I don't see that many of them.
Yeah, like
I
on Hausen,
see-
like Chain Disappearance was probably already in his deck.
Yeah. Win's going second, so he'll probably put in Dark Hole and Raigeki now. 2 copies of Dark Hole, 1 copy of Raigeki,
Yeah.
which he probably did not put in before.
Yep.
That might be the only difference.
Yeah, I mean, does he want Chain Disappearance going second? I have no idea.
That's a good question.
I mean, I think Chain Disappearance is probably so powerful that, like, maybe you just do. It also could be, I think, if I had played in this tournament, I think I might have ended up somewhere similar to where Trong did, with 2 main deck copies of Chain Disappearance, but instead of Neil Sailing, I would just played Apocrypha. Because I feel like those are 2 pretty sweet spots to be at. Like, both those cards can just end a game, especially Chain Disappearance. But Apocrypha is just... So many people are preparing for the mass destruction effects with, like, he has 3 My Bodies as a shield in his main deck. My Body's Shield is probably the best quick play spell. Close to it. He also has 3 copies of Forbidden Chalice, too, and Twin Twisters. But there's just so much destruction right now that Apocrypha hits players at an angle they can't always answer. Same thing with Xyz Universe.
Yeah.
So similar.
As we saw in our round 5 feature match.
Yeah, I was actually talking to someone earlier who was saying that one reason that Xyz Universe is so powerful is you end with your regular Zodiac board, you know, Daigusto Emerald plus Trident, and when they slumber you, you respond and make Red Eyes Metal Flare Dragon, which can't be destroyed, and then Slumber just doesn't special summon anything because your only monster isn't destroyed. Because Slumber has to destroy monsters in order to special summon the Kaiju. and all of a sudden they're just done. Or you let it go through, and then you let them think they're going to OTK you through your dead back row, and then you just get them at the very end when they go Gaga Samurai plus, you know, whatever monster Dryden, etc., to beat you, and you just catch them there, and then all of a sudden they have a Kaiju to your Abyss Gaios, which probably has a material, which means the opponent's level 7 or higher monster can't attack or whatever.
Yeah,
game.
I've always been a fan of Xyz Universe. I think that's a very powerful card.
Yeah, it is definitely a good one. I remember the last NAWCQ I played in, I think, was the big Xyz Universe tournament. It was 2014 with Gear. I feel like that was when Xyz Universe was just such a big deal. It was all about playing around Xyz Universe.
I'll start. Good luck. Good luck.
See if we can check out these hands really quick.
I think I see a barrage in Strong's hand.
So drawing hand is great, is what you're telling me.
It's the only card I can make out.
All you need to make out. See as soon as they get the hands going.
I got it. You're good.
Oh, and there's a Maxi, so his hand is great. Is that a, let's see,
Two
Thoroughblade?
Maxis.
Two Maxis. Thoroughblade, is that Rapier too? Okay, so it's
Barrage.
not the best
Yeah.
hand, actually. It's really weak. Well, it's not super weak, but he's a lot of cards he just doesn't need right now, like Rapier. And Barrage is also just redundant now if he doesn't use, you know, something to extend his combo like Ram or anything like that.
That's not bad. He summons Thoroughblade, discards the Rapier to draw a card.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you have
Summons-
Rapier in your hand, it's just the most efficient way to combo off.
Oh, he goes into Tiger Mortar, then Borbo.
Yeah.
He meant to do the reverse so that he can use Tiger Mortar's effect to swap the Borbo with the Rapier so that he can combo off. Now he just trapped himself. That's really unfortunate for him. He immediately realized the mistake he made.
Yeah. Now,
He just went a little
what
too
you
fast.
need to hear is just to not tilt. So what he needs to do is Xyz Summon Broad Bull, activate its effect
Yeah.
to search, and then Xyz Summon Dryden over top of it, and just play out his hand.
Yeah, make
Like-
the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, no, it's super unfortunate that it happened because obviously, you know, it's a long tournament. We're in super late rounds.
Yeah.
Everyone is fatigued. And that's all the Zodiacs also look very similar. And you stack so many on top of each other that, you know, mistakes are bound to happen at some point. It's unfortunate that, you know, now when he's at this sort of position, but as long as he doesn't get Ghost Ogred, I think he's still fine. Like, him drawing Twin Twisters here is also huge because this is probably the best deck to have Twin Twisters against.
That's true. So, that was the draw off of Thoroughblade.
Yeah.
So,
As far as I'm concerned, he's just playing around Maxi. Not a big deal.
yeah.
Think
It
how
was
silly Nguyen would look right now
intentional.
if he had Maxi in
Yeah.
his hand or anything like that.
All right, so he upgrades into Dryden, sets Twin Twisters, and he's back in business.
Yep. Ooh, and Nguyen drew Tikaton board. Board.
All right, so not great for him, but he does have 2 gold drivers and a silver. So it's actually not a bad
Raigeki
hand
too.
for Win.
That's rough.
He has a Raigeki also.
Yeah.
He uses it immediately. Maybe that makes Strong feel a little better. Raigeki would have cleared his field.
Yeah, but the difference is you get like
Yeah.
you get an extra card.
You get the
and
Emerald
It's a
draw.
pretty good deal. So just normal summons, swings in. Does he has 1 trap card.
He has a counter, and then he has 2 more Metalfoes in hand.
Yeah, let's see what he wants to do. Twin Twisters
Activates.
might just get activated here.
Oh, he activates Silvered and Gold Driver.
Don't let it
in
go
his Spectrum
through.
Zones. He destroys Gold Driver with Silvered and then sets from his deck. I would imagine he wants a combination. Yeah. So he's
Yeah.
setting up for the next turn.
Here, Chong's just probably going to end phase Twin Twister, trying to hit whatever card so he can combo off correctly the following turn. He might just Twin Twister. Well, no, because the scale's up, it's easy. He can just Twin Twister the new back row and the scale.
Yes, because he obviously doesn't want to hit combination.
Yeah, I think you got to snap it off here too.
And he does, so
Yeah.
he's going to
He's gonna discard a copy of Maxi. Crazy, but
Yeah, Maxi's not the most effective card against Pendulum decks typically.
yeah, it's also that like it's redundant. Your opponent's not being
Yeah.
aggressive. You still have the second copy. He draws Neo Ceiling. That's a solid one, but all he has to do here is combo and somehow get Zodiac combo to the grave.
Yeah, so he has, well, easier said than done.
Yeah.
He has
Well, it's actually not that hard because what he could do in a super convoluted way is Broad Bull for Rapier and then Rapier to send it down, and then try comboing off like that.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's just not going to be the best.
Yeah, he could do that. So he's going to Barrage to special summon Thoroughblade from his deck. Discard Whiptail and draw...
Rapier,
Is that
I
a
think.
Rapier?
Yeah, no, I didn't like that.
That's really bad if he drew that Rapier.
Yeah, this is just... at least he has a second copy of Maxi and Neil Sealing now, but it's still just not the best.
Now he goes Borbo into Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar's effect, swapping the Borbo with Rapier, which is what he meant to do last turn. Detaches Thoroughblade to special summon a Rapier. But now there's one stuck in his hand.
Yeah, but he can still special summon it from his hand. Rapier lets you do that, but
okay,
it's
yeah,
just
but it
you
made-
lose a card by doing
Yeah,
so.
it made the draw worthless.
Yeah.
So he goes into Broad Bull, detaches Tiger Mortar, and now he is going to special summon the Rapier from his hand. Broad Bull's effect, he'll add, I would imagine, Whiptail from his deck to his hand.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that he wasn't able to keep that Thoroughblade on, because he could just Thoroughblade plus Whiptail to banish the Pendulum, rather than destroy by battle the normal way. How much attack does Gold Driver have?
18? 1900.
19?
Gold Driver, yeah.
Are you sure it's 19, not 18?
Pretty sure. I'll double check. But
I'm pretty sure it's 18, but it doesn't really matter. As long as
Nope.
Daigusto, 19. Nice.
It's 19.
That means the life points are incorrect. But,
oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I played Metalfoes for a while.
yeah. But what I was going to say was that it's unfortunate because Tronk just still can't even clear this Gold Driver without activating Dryden.
Yeah. And even if he does, it goes to the extra deck.
Yeah, but like
And
you
he
might
uses-
just do it just to get rid of the monster.
Yeah,
Is that another copy of Twin Twisters?
I think he needs to because it's threat right now. He doesn't have any more Twin Twisters. He used his only one.
Oh, no. Did he just draw Twin Twisters off of Daigusto Emerald?
Did he?
What I was asking. I think he did.
That would be really good. Because then he can, when he clears the Gold Driver, he can safely...
Probably just equipping Whiptail here. No reason not to.
Yeah,
You're probably going to do it the following turn anyway.
you're right. He drew
Or
Twin
he's just going to
Twisters.
choose not to. That's interesting. Doesn't want to press for 12. I feel like you want your opponent on a clock when they're this low on resources.
Yeah, he'd rather surprise him, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he
see,
sends the Twin...
right there, yeah, no win corrects one of the table judges. That was 19,
Yeah.
so we can... yeah, he draws Speed Roteratop, which unbricks the Tiki-Town board from his hand.
That's good.
Yep.
Trung has set the Twin Twisters now, so he can prevent a Pendulum Summon.
Yep.
Uh,
Activate a scale. Activate that.
how did he get the Gold Driver back just now?
He banished the...
Counter?
Yeah.
From the grave? Okay, I missed that. So he gets the Gold Driver back. Oh, snaps Trident on...
When he
to-
flips the trap.
Yes.
Yeah, so that he can... when he flips the trap, he responds with Whiptail. So then, once he activates the effect, he can just use Whiptail. Or use Dryden's effect.
Yes. So by destroying the Gold Driver after it activates its effect, the effect won't resolve to destroy combination.
Yep, and now the Maxi comes into play.
Now Win has a decision
I mean,
to make.
yeah, you just...
Probably make Totem Bird, right?
I would consider it.
And just attack.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like the worst.
And then what do you attack?
That's rough, too.
Probably the Trident, because if there's anything...
Yeah, but the issue is then you're probably just losing your Totem Bird next turn, losing the duel like that. Maybe this might be the right play where you're just supposed to press and hope. Or you
Really?
try to clear the Daigusto Emerald, but clearing the Daigusto Emerald doesn't make sense because he can just Tiger Mortar on top of that, detach, get back Rapier and do all that. So you'd have to clear the Dryden because it's a guaranteed way to combo. But,
Draw for the...
This seems dangerous. He's giving a lot of cards to Trong.
I mean, I just don't think he can do anything else is the issue. And he's just going to try to go Borbo into Dryden, I think. So that way he can clear both threats and then just hope the amount of cards that Trong draws doesn't really matter.
Been 3 cards so far for Trong.
If he chooses to stack one more Xyz too, he can use Dryden to destroy his own card, his own trap, the combination. So that way if he draws Metalfoes, he can still sort of pendulum summon and do more things, but it just seems way too hard.
He's going to special summon a Rapier from his deck to give Trong a 4th draw this turn off of Max C. He upgrades Borbo into Tiger Mortar, giving Trong a 5th draw. Tiger Mortar swaps Xyz materials to get Rapier, and he detaches it to special summon another Rapier, giving Trong a 6th draw.
Who needs 2 maxis when the first one draws you this many
Yeah.
cards?
Upgrades to Broad Bull. That makes 7 cards in Trong's hand.
By now, Trong is probably drawing a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, so he can start responding if he wants to. It looks like he's going to Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit there on the search.
He does play 2 copies.
Probably going to find Dragoons of Draconia, I would assume.
You're correct.
See what rank 4 he chooses to make.
Finds both Rat Piers, meaning Trong goes to 8 cards in hand. Wynn uses Augusto Emerald's effect to draw 1 pitiful card. Far from the 8 he allowed Trong to draw.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting out of this.
No
Trong just
way.
has far too many cards.
No way, unless he can win this turn, but he doesn't have nearly enough cards to do it. What was wrong with the Totem Bird attack Trident play?
You just probably lose.
To what?
He just activates that Goose Animal, gets a bunch more resources. He draws any Zodiac,
Well,
he combos
yeah,
off, and then you just have nothing.
But then you just have to hope he bricks.
Exactly,
Hope
yeah.
he doesn't
Well,
draw anything.
Yeah,
I feel like
mean,
that's your best chance, no?
I'm unsure. I think it was either that or this. So
That or
I
this.
guess he just chose this and hoped, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he somehow, like, finds a Dimensional Bear or something, stuns Strong for a turn, and then because he searched Dragoons of Draconia, draws a Pendulum Monster and is able to go off. I don't know. Kieran's a pretty solid one.
Tributes Invoker for Kieran.
You didn't special summon on something. Yeah, that's fine.
Kieran attacks Emerald.
Yep. I wonder if Trong drew a Whiptail.
He actually did not.
Crazy. Dex, no Whiptail.
So, Emerald attacks and destroys Trident.
Not 43 years of 1,000.
Yeah, did you take the 200?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
All things considered, this isn't the worst for Win.
62 to 41.
Strong has 2 Needle Ceiling, Starlight Road, Zodiac combo, Twin Twisters,
You guys have 5 minutes left.
all of which do virtually nothing.
Yeah, what he needs to find is a Kaiju and a way to combo.
If he put in the Kaijus.
If he did. Does he not have Slumber in his hand, or is that a Tenki?
He has a Tenki and a Twin
Okay,
Twisters.
yeah, no, I thought one of them was Slumber, but
No, so he probably didn't put
Yeah.
in the Kaijus.
that makes sense.
I'll be very impressed if Win wins. And it looks like he still could. So
Yeah, he just
maybe-
has to be able to combo through the Kieran, which seems, you're right, which seems
Hard.
really rough.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think he chose that or this, and this might have been the better play. This might have made it more likely for him to win out of a bad position. Strong gets Whiptail with Tenki. Now he has Rat Pier and Whiptail in hand.
Normal summon? No effect?
Strong summons Rat Pier.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually as long as Strong, I know it's rough actually, never mind. I was going to say as long as he lives, he probably has a pretty good shot just because he has, like, even though he's not using Rapier's effect to send combo, he has combo plus Twin Twister, which means he can put it in the graveyard during his opponent's turn and then shuffle back his own monsters during his turn. But, I don't know.
He'll probably lose his Xyz material this turn though, right? His Xyz monster, I mean.
Yeah,
to-
but that
to
doesn't
cure
matter
it.
too much. What he's going to try to do, I think, is like somehow work his way into whiptailing and beating the Kieran like that. So needing to force out the Kieran and then maybe doing something, or just hoping that Nguyen doesn't have another pendulum.
All right, so Trident destroys Emerald.
Yeah, like as soon as he forces Nguyen to use Kieran once, like Nguyen has to find another way to put it into play. So he needs to find like another pendulum scale to complete his scales, or
I said 1, 2, 3.
I don't know, or some way to destroy his own card. I'm unsure. There's a pendulum.
I'll fix your game.
My
Is Bismugear high or low scale?
Bismugear, I believe, is an 8 scale. Let me
Okay.
check. Yes.
Well, that's
Bismugear's
a
8.
complete scale. That's a 2 and an 8, right?
Yes,
He
it
has
is.
Dragoons.
So he has a
But
way
he
to
has
put
twin
Kieran
twisters, so
back.
he just twin twisters
Yeah.
away both scales, and then that's it.
Pretty much. We would get a search in the end phase with Bismugear's effect.
Yeah,
so
but
if he
it-
lives one more turn, maybe he can retaliate.
Yeah, I think as long as you clear Kieran, though, like you're just gonna either banish or bounce Kieran. So
Oh, this is brutal. Bismugear destroys counter. If he twin twisters, if Trong twin twisters, we will get a search for whatever gets destroyed.
yeah, but I think having him search during the end phase, not that bad. Scars Neil ceiling.
Yeah, and because Dragoons of Draconia is in Wind's hand, that can't destroy
Well, the issue
the
is now he can just
combination.
normal summon the Dragoons, and that gives him 2 activations with Kieran.
That's true. That's
so now
not
he doesn't
bad.
even really like force out anything.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Like what he needs to do is activate Zodiac combo right now, equip and exceeds or equip a material onto Trident, so he can destroy the Dragoons and then Whiptail.
That's what he's doing.
I feel like this is maybe a little bit too much. I think he could have gotten away with just activating Zodiac combo.
Does it stay in the hand?
Yeah, you can't resolve because there's nothing to attach itself to. The combo just resolves without effects. Writing goes to the extra.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so Kieran's effect was chained
Yeah.
to return.
I just think he
Trident
would have probably
Gifter.
chained it just to the combo. I guess it doesn't matter too much, but
Yeah, you're probably right.
They get the 3 minute.
I added it on
Huh?
You're right.
You're probably right, because there's no reason not to, because you know the Trident is able to destroy the Dragoons.
yeah.
Looks like they're in overtime now.
Yeah, and Trong is not leading in life points. He is far, far behind.
Wow. All the cards in his deck won't help him there. He needs to deal damage.
Yeah, that's rough. This is definitely not the way I expected this game
Yeah.
to go.
I mean, the cards might help him deal damage, but
Yeah.
he still has to make that happen.
He also he still has Whiptail, and I guess if he draws like a barrage or a way to summon twice, like that is his out now. He just needs a way to put 2 monsters into play.
So he draws.
It looks like a spell.
It's the first turn of overtime. Now he has combo, so he's going to get an extra card, and he's going to be able to recycle some of his Zodiac cards.
Yeah.
So that's huge for Trong.
So he's choosing to put back Rapier, which makes his Whiptail a lot worse, right?
Why is that?
Well, because he can't just normal summon the Whiptail and upgrade to Tiger Mortar immediately. So that means
does
he
he
needs.
have another Rapier in there?
Well, he has 1 Rapier on his grave. That's it. I'm
Only
pretty
the
sure.
one, and
Yeah,
he's
because he
shuffling that
Daiku's
back.
Emerald back the first 2.
So you're right. So that's kind of weird.
Well, I guess it depends on what he's dropped. Maybe what he drew would change that decision, but I don't see why.
On these 3 and these 2.
Okay, yeah, I was just checking the names. Borbo, Tiger Mortar, Bravo, Raptor.
Did he have to actually send those back? Maybe those were the only 5 he had?
That could be true.
That would explain that. So he draws 1 card.
It's like
Looks
a trap.
like a trap.
Is that Dimensional Barrier?
It is.
That's actually a pretty good one because that could mean that he just negates Kieran's effect for a turn. So as long as he can
he has one
his
down.
own set. Now this is the way he wins right here.
Yeah.
Boom. That should actually just not be it, but be enough.
So he puts.
He did have Barrage. See, like this
Yeah.
is what makes this play great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where drawing 8 cards on the earlier turn really comes in handy.
Yeah, I'm surprised he kept up the Tenki.
Instead of destroying it with Barrage.
Yeah, I guess it's just more damage, and maybe in time he just wants more damage, but
that could be.
yeah, I don't know. But now, yeah, he's got to go Borbo, and then I assume Broad Bull. Broad Bull search Whiptail and just try to make your monster big enough to destroy it by battle and Rapier combo. Is that game, actually? That's 800. Kieran has 2,000 attack?
Correct.
So that's 800 plus 38, so that's 4,600. That means he needs 1,600 in addition to that. We'll see. Oh, did he have? Oh, he did have another one in the grave. Never mind. This play's fine.
So he gets that with Tiger Mortar. And attack his Whiptail to special summon another Rapier from his deck. Upgrades Tiger Mortar into Broad Bull. Detaches and exceeds material from Broad Bull to special summon his last Rapier. upgrades Broad Bull into Trident. Then with Kieran's effect negated, he's able to use Trident's effect to destroy Kieran. It can be targeted now. Combines his Rat Piers. Probably going for Samurai or maybe Daigusto Emerald.
I assume Samurai,
This is
especially in time.
yeah, to get the damage in.
Yeah, I mean, with Dimensional Barrier in your hand, it's actually hard to lose from here.
Oh, fuck. Messed up.
Oh, man. Trong entered his battle phase without activating Gaga
Oh.
Samurai. Fatigue really setting in. It's okay, that's still going to be 2,000 damage. But that might cost him. We'll see. Dimensional Barrier should be enough, though, to just, like, stave off anything. He also has Twin Twisters.
Attack.
So he has 13 from there, so that's a little bit more.
So he could have gotten win below his own life points,
Yeah.
right, if he activated the effect.
Yeah, but he has Twin Twister Dimensional Barrier, so it actually shouldn't matter.
He's in
All he
great
has-
shape,
Yeah,
but
he
yeah, I
just
think he only-
Dimensional Barriers Pendulums.
Yeah.
And then he just hopes that Nguyen doesn't draw a Mass Effect. Yeah, he
Like Quaking Mirror Force,
but
for
Twin Twister gets
example.
answered.
Yeah.
Like he needed like a dark hole
You're
or
right, he-
something.
he
there.
needed a
But this
spell
is still
card.
it. He just Dimensional Barriers Pendulums.
Yeah.
It's done. Sets a back row and face Twin Twister.
You're
Done.
right.
Yeah.
Trong should still
So
have
yeah,
this.
yeah. I mean, Trong had this. It wasn't like he was making decisions that were bad. It was that he's just tired.
Yeah.
And that's important. Like mental, endurance is huge, especially in long tournaments. Like you need to be eating throughout the tournament. You need to be drinking water. Like you have to take care of yourself. And like if you don't get a good night's sleep, that's part of that. That is part of your mental health. If your mental health is not up to par, it's not going to be good enough.
Yeah. So Win puts Gold Driver in the Pendulum Scale and Trident destroys it.
Yep.
In the Pendulum Zone, rather. Trident destroys it. Dragoons attacks and destroys Trident. Whiptail banishes Dragoons.
Yeah. Gaga Samurai is still just threatening lethal. So all he has to do is Twin Twister this back row, and that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't forget to do that, it'll be over.
Yep. Yep. Nguyen sees it, or Trong sees it, and now Nguyen sees that it is just.
Activate Twin Twister.
Yeah.
Discard as a boss.
Yep. That's it.
Win offers the
So
handshake.
bad.
Sign the match slip.
Strong.
Strong could do nothing but apologize, but he didn't make any mistakes. He played well throughout that whole entire match, other than missteps that were just
Yeah.
based on fatigue.
Yeah.
But what was super impressive was that Nguyen still almost won playing through a maxi. His decision to press through
Yeah.
maxi defined the game.
Right. I give him a lot of credit for that
Yeah.
because he almost came back. He almost won despite Trong drawing 8 cards from his deck with Maxi in one turn.
Yep. Crazy.
And I will charge the pads.
Yeah. Trong is ecstatic. Nguyen a bit less so. But
Yeah.
their records are still very impressive. They're
Yes.
guaranteed in for day 2,
Yeah.
and they're still both in top cut contention. So, not as bad as it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of Zodiacs this weekend, as we saw 2 weeks ago. We're
Yep.
seeing a lot of impact from Fusion Enforcers in the form of the new invoked monsters. They weren't here in this feature match, but perhaps we'll see them in the next round.
Yep.
The final round of today's Swiss rounds.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like so much is happening. We've seen so many crazy tech cards. It's rough. Do you think any, if you have to guess what's going to win the tournament, what do you think? Give me 3, 2,
It's going to be
1.
some sort of Zodiac deck
that
for
was a
sure.
terrible answer.
Yeah,
All right,
I mean, that
We'll catch you back next round.
It's my
Final rounds
guess.
this, round 9. We'll see you soon. Stay tuned.
Attention duelists around the world. Thanks to cutting-edge Kaiba Corp technology, you can now duel on your smartphone. Ready? Check this out, everyone. Write the next chapter in dueling history. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Here I go. It's my turn. My turn!
It's my turn.
Play as your favorite character and win your duels. Not a single card can stand up to this. Build your strongest deck and summon your legendary monsters. I call on Blue Eyes White Dragon. White Lightning! Duels are now in the palm of your hand. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Make your move because it's time to duel.
Well, impressive feature match. We have Steven Trong here. Narrowly defeats Hao Nguyen. Yeah, we can tell fatigue is setting in, obviously.
It's been a very long day. It's been, we've been playing since, I've been here since 8 a.m. But, you know, it's still fun. He was a great guy. We definitely had a fun match still.
Mental endurance a big thing. So the one thing I want to talk about is him pushing through Maxi. Did you?
Yes. That was actually really exciting for both of us because I thought like maybe he would have a chance. I think he was trying to search for a combo piece for the Metalfoes to pop his combination to go on. But at that point we were, I think he was just giving me too many cards at that point because Maxi is the card of the format, I'd say. I think everybody can agree with that. But yes, it's still a very enjoyable format. There's still a lot of variety, as you can see, and just multiple games after a long day like this is definitely not. It tires us out a lot.
Yeah, mental fatigue's a big thing. You got to stay hydrated, make sure you get sleep, all the normal health things. But good job, man. Good luck in the rest of the tournament. You know, don't let fatigue knock you out, okay? All right. We'll catch you back for round 9, final round of Swiss. We'll see you soon.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Raging Tempest. On a dark and stormy dueling night, rain monsters down with all your might. Bring wind and birds and beasts from the sky. 100 new cards. Raging Tempest. 9 cards per pack, each pack sold separately.
QQ stands for Quick Question, and we're here at YCS Atlanta, where Kaiju have been destroying the field. If you don't know much about the Kaiju, they're giant monsters that just make havoc of anything in their way, and it's probably one of the most popular engines in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. So if you had to choose one Kaiju to release, to wreak havoc, to destroy the city of Atlanta, which Kaiju would you choose, and why?
Gamma Seal, because I like turtles.
Gamma Seal, the sea turtle Kaiju, because you like turtles. Well, that's not too vicious, but I appreciate your answer. Good luck in the rest of the tournament, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
I would easily stick Jizukiru, the star-destroying Kaiju, on the city of Atlanta.
Why Jizukiru?
He's my favorite. He's a light, he's a machine. I love machines.
Probably Jizukiru because it's the best Kaiju for having the most attack and the most defense. Also, it's like Mecha Godzilla, so it's just going to like shoot fire everywhere and destroy everything.
So Jizukiru over Thunder King and the Lightning Strike Kaiju, same amount of attack points, can probably destroy the cities with.
So it's more likely to be destroyed by the military.
The countermeasures of the military are the reason you chose Jizukiru? That's a great answer.
Jizukiru, the Star Question Kaiju.
Why?
It's just devastating. You see how it look? It's just like it reminds me of Transformers, just like Decepticons or something. Just like one big machine that just like overpowers everything. Yeah.
Probably the Thunder King Kaiju, because who doesn't like thunder, and being all that lightning, being all crackling against Atlanta would be great. That thing looks awesome in general, like that. Plus, like, it's one of the big ones. Like, it has to be doing like severe damage to the city. It just has to be like that. The Thunder King Kaiju just looks amazing, in my opinion. I think it's the best one.
So the strongest Kaiju, eh? Definitely Jizukiru. Because, you know, its name, and it's like, it's the biggest Kaiju. You know, Jizukiru? Yeah.
Gamma Seal, the turtle.
Why Gamma Seal, the sea turtle Kaiju?
Because it's slow.
Because it's slow? So you want just the slow and painful destruction of the entire city. That's what you're looking for when you're unleashing giant beasts?
Yes.
So if I could unleash one Kaiju on Atlanta, I think it would be Thunder King, the Lightning Strike Kaiju. I forget how many heads it has. I think it's got 3 heads. Is that right? 3 heads? I mean, come on. 3 heads are better than 1.
Jizukiru, the star-destroying Kaiju. Because it's already destroying a city in the picture. I mean, it's just common sense.
Yeah, Kaiju are known for destroying cities, but what about that specific Kaiju do you think makes it especially powerful against the city of Atlanta?
It has a lot of attack.
If I had to pick, I pick Thunder King, because if I pick Gamma Cell, he might have an advantage, but what if that's their animal, they control it, I don't want to lose. So I picked the strongest one, which is Thunder King, to take down everybody.
So if I had to unleash a Kaiju on the city of Atlanta, it'd be Thunder King, what was his? The
Lightning Strike Kaiju.
The Lightning Strike Kaiju, because as a guy who played gadgets for like 6 years, Thunder King literally ruined all of my days. So all I can think about with Thunder King is it destroying me, so it might as well destroy everyone else.
So back with vengeance, huh?
Back with vengeance, yeah. That card is insane.
If I could call upon the power of a kaiju to destroy the city of Atlanta, Georgia, I would call upon G'Darla, the Mystery Wind Kaiju. Because it's just like Mothra and freaking awesome, and he would destroy the entire thing starting at Olympic Park. And it would quake like a quaking mirror force, and it would go out. And let me tell you something, brother. Once it finally hits all of the outer areas, it'll hit Chattanooga, brother. It'll hit Miami, brother, all the way down to the sea, all the way to Cuba. And once that happens with your hot dogging and your showboating, it will have destroyed Atlanta. I guess that's kind of all I had to say. I didn't really have anything further than that. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, thank you, man. That was great. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. So you have it here, folks. YCS Atlanta. Which kaiju would you choose? Probably the most enthusiastic response, but it seems like Jizukuru and Thunder King were the most popular. Make sure to keep tuned for coverage, and we'll see you soon.
It's time to duel! Duel. Duel Links.
QQ stands for quick questions. Zodiac cards have been giving a lot of duelists a lot of trouble this weekend, so I figured I'd survey the duelists in a competition this weekend to see if they were a zookeeper, which Zodiac monster do they think would give them the most trouble? What do you think?
Typically, Dryden gives people the most trouble because he puts the most pressure on board.
And if you were a zookeeper and Dryden were in a zoo, how would that put pressure on you?
Because I don't know if the Dryden was ever going to kill me or not.
Dryden might be the most aggressive zoo animal?
Definitely, especially when he has Whiptail equipped to him.
All right.
I think Barbo would put most pressure on me as a zookeeper because it doesn't look really clean and it would always throw around bananas and stuff.
Okay, the answer is definitely Momorat because I am afraid of rats.
Rat Pier?
Rat Pier, yes, definitely.
Probably Zodiac Dryden because she's based off a dragon, and dragons aren't always fun to play with. So, and yeah.
Might come after you?
Yeah, spit some fire at me because I didn't feed her once or twice,
What do you think a Dryden eats?
I mean, she's a dragon, so probably a person.
I guess the hardest to deal with would probably be Tiger Mortar, because although I do have 3 cats, Tiger would be kind of out of hand for me, considering I'm a timing person. So I try my best, but there's only so much I can do.
Would you feed your Tiger Mortar cat food?
Yeah, maybe it'd make it weaker since it's not eating raw meat. That's the best I could do.
Might be a little different.
All right, so the Zodiac that will give me the biggest problem would probably be Whiptail. The reason why is because if you look at the card, it looks like a scientist. So that's already, I got an associate, so I'm already pretty sure if you're in a lab coat, you're gonna be a little bit smarter than me, but can't do much when it banishes everything on the field.
It's tough when the animals outsmart the zookeeper.
I know, and it's gonna be a full takeover. If you look at Barrage, they're like destroying everything. I'm not down for that.
Bun because nobody ever uses it.
How would that affect you as a zookeeper?
I don't know. I feel like just having a rabbit like that would be annoying. That's my reason.
All right.
Zodiac Ram by far looks like the most trouble out of all of them.
Why's that?
Man, it's always the innocent ones that are the most terrible, horrifying creatures. The Paleozoic monsters never expected it.
Definitely Tiger Mortar because the dude who jumped into the cage got mauled by it, so probably the same thing would happen.
Scary.
Yep.
Dryden.
Why?
It just destroys stuff, so it would tear everything up.
As an animal in the zoo, it would do the same?
Yeah, pretty much.
Dryden.
Why?
Because monster disposal or backfield disposal is one of the most important factors of this game, and I believe he suits both categories, so I'd give it to Dryden.
How would that affect you as a zookeeper?
The potential of getting eradicated by a creature, yes. very.
Fair point. So the Zodiac monsters have been disrupting everyone this weekend, and as a zookeeper, I would imagine it would be no different. Several duelists this weekend seem to agree.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Fusion Enforcers! Call upon magical new monsters so you can unleash their fusion power. 5 cards per pack, each pack sold separately. And master the storm with Raging Tempest. 9 cards per pack, each pack sold separately.
Hello, duelists, and welcome back to YCS Atlanta. We have more QQ, that stands for quick questions for you. And this time around, we're going to be asking duelists, out of all the tech cards you've seen in the tournament, what is the one that impacted you the most or you thought was the most unique?
Well, I do have to say, Speedwhite Minko was the most fantastic card I've seen today.
Well, why was Speedwhite Minko so powerful when it was used against you? Or what about it do you think was made it so fantastic?
So, I went to attack with my Toon monsters. Of course, they can attack directly. And they activated from their hand. And I swapped all my Toon monsters to defense.
Oh yeah, so hand traps are pretty dangerous, so it makes sense. Well, thank you, Pegasus. You helped us out a lot.
Shadow Fusion.
So Shadow Fusion, that's great going second. What were you playing and why did it impact you so much?
I was playing Infernoid Shadows, and I played it because everybody's playing Zoo, which is XYZ monsters, and Shadow Fusion pluses off of that, and so does Imagination. And with Lawnmower, you mill Shadows and you mill Infernoids, and it's just pretty good. It sounded like a good strategy for the weekend.
So you're utilizing El Shaddai Grista, is that right?
Exactly. Grista's pretty good. Yeah, I played Grista too. I played Grista, Shikanaga, and Winda.
The single most annoying card that I played against today was definitely Forbidden Chalice. I was running Eidolon, Shadal artifacts, and just getting your Dragon Chalice is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, the Invoked Engine, very powerful now, and Forbidden Chalice, not quite a tech card, but very popular as a way to answer field, so it makes sense it was so devastating.
It was very upsetting.
All right, see, the most impactful card was actually Kaiju Slumber, and it honestly is just wholeheartedly unfair, and like it's super powerful. And the most impactful card that I used was actually Chain Disappearance and Compulsive Evacuation Device. Chain Disappearance is a really good meta call. Compulse, nobody has outs for that, so it's just really good.
The most interesting card that I saw this weekend was what I played, which is actually a Mass Change in second and Invoke Zoo. So what it was is I felt like losing to Barrier was really easy if they barrier the Invocation. So what I did was I would chain Mass Change in second to the Invocation or to the Barrier, and then I'd summon Dark Law, which created another threat along with the Zodiac Trident and Daigusto Emerald.
So yeah, Master Hero Darklaw, one of the most powerful and disruptive threats we've seen in a long time, but more so adding a different way to summon, a different summoning technique to combat Dimensional Barrier. Very cool strategy.
In terms of tech cards that I've seen, everything's been pretty standard, aside from like, I guess the one I'm using, it's tech, I guess, the Swords of Concealing Light. It's from the movie pack, or Spiritual Swords of Concealing Light. From the movie pack, pay 1,000, negate an attack, so it's really good. It protects my Decatrons and my Trident effects. Other than that, everyone's been playing pretty standard stuff. My bodies, ogres, chalice, everything's pretty standard so far.
So I think Chain Disappearance is probably one of the best tech cards this weekend because it hits not only monsters in the main deck but also in the extra deck. And so it hits cards like Dryden, Broadbow, hits the Rats, which just destroys the Ho Zodiac combo. Also hits a Lester, and it hits Decatron. So I think it's I think it's like a card that you could play in the side, but you can also play in the main too.
I understand that. Yeah, we've talked about Chain Disappearance a little bit before. Super high impact against Zodiac, but you bring up a good point that it's so good against so many different strategies that you could probably main deck and get away with it. It's just one of the best cards going first.
Yeah, for sure. I also think that on top of that, you get to a correctly timed Chain Disappearance could just completely destroy your opponent. So like in the Zodiac mirror match, getting rid of their Trident could be really impactful because then they can't disrupt your plays anymore, while you could just continuously disrupt theirs.
That makes sense. So like once they've used a few resources, you catch them on a Chain Disappearance and suddenly they're out of the game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Good luck with whatever you're doing. We'll see you later. That's all we got for quick questions on tech cards from YCS Atlanta. Make sure to stay tuned, and we'll be back soon. Which then gets you Invocation. Same thing if you just draw Alistair, you just get Invocation, and that's enough on its own.
With no monsters left on the field, I summon Dark Magician. Declare direct attack.
You got me.
Told you I was the master.
GG.
GG. I gotta bounce, guys.
All right, man.
From over 700 classic cards to build your ultimate deck. Unlock and play as your favorite characters. Summon powerful monsters and become a duel master. With infinite combinations, it's anyone's battle to win.
Happy Lady Sisters! Triple Scratch Attack!
Rematch?
Bring it.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, the ultimate real-time PvP battle, now on mobile. Download free on App Store and Google Play.
Today I want to talk about a combo that you're probably going to see a lot of over the next few months, especially if you tune into our tournament coverage either here or on Twitch TV/official Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel. This combo involves the Zodiac Xyz monsters from Raging Tempest. We got Borbo, Tiger Mortar, Broad Bull, and Trident. And while the actual result of this combo is pretty simple, it actually has a lot of steps, and you might have seen it done with a few shortcuts. Might be a little unclear on exactly what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you step by step. What exactly is happening when you see the Zodiac combo on screen. So the thing with the Zodiac Xyz monsters is that they can all be Xyz summoned using only one other Zodiac monster as the material. And unlike other cards like number S39, Utopia the Lightning, or Downward Magician, that one monster can be just any Zodiac monster. It doesn't have to be an Xyz monster. So the monster they use is Zodiac Rapier. Each of the basic Zodiacs adds an effect onto a Beast Warrior type Xyz monster that uses it as its material. In this case, Rapiers is once per turn. You can detach an Xyz material from this card, summon another Rapier from your hand or deck. So you start by summoning Zodiac Rapier. You can either normal summon it from your hand, or special summon it from your deck with something like Zodiac Barrage, or MX Saber Invoker, which normally winds up on the field courtesy of Terror Top and Tekettenborg. Once you have your Rapier on the field, you start off by Xyz summoning Zodiac Borbo. Borbo is kind of a starter and the finisher for a pure Zodiac deck. You can start off this combo by using it like this, or you could finish a duel by using its effect to attack directly. And then if it has 12 materials, you do a bunch of other cool stuff. But for our purposes, the important thing is that it has gained this effect, the once per turn you can detach to summon a Rapier. So we'll do that now. There we go. Now the Rapier. Next, we're going to use Borbo as the material to Xyz summon Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar's effect lets her detach one of her own materials to target a Zodiac in your graveyard and an Xyz monster on your field, and attach the graveyard card to the Xyz monster on the field as material. There we go. So now she's got Rapier, and the ability, once per turn you can detach one Xyz material, summon another Rapier. Now the question you might have right now is, hang on, that affects once per turn, so why can you use it again here? That's because it's just once per turn : It doesn't have you can only use this ability once per turn. And as a result, each time it's placed on a new card, that restriction's reset. It's considered the ability of a totally new card that hasn't been used yet, so we can detach this Rapier now and summon the third one from the deck. There we go. Next, we'll go ahead and use Tiger Mortar as the material to summon Zodiac Broad Bull. Broad Bull lets you detach a material to add a Beast Warrior type monster that can be normal summoned or set from your deck to your hand. And the one that we're going to get here is Zodiac Whiptail. There's a lot of other choices, tons of them really. There's other Zodiacs, there's Fire Fist monsters, there's even Beast King Barbaros if you want it. But for our purposes, the most common card you're going to see is Zodiac Whiptail, because this card can attach itself to a Beast Warrior type Xyz monster during either player's turn at any time, except during the damage step, and it gives the monster it's attached to the ability to banish any monster that it battles. So this is going to go to hand, and then finally we're going to use Zodiac Broadbolt as a material for Zodiac Trident, which also has a quick effect that lets you destroy any face-up card on the field. So with this, you could detach the Broadbolt, destroy something, and then just put Whiptail right on so that you can do it again during your opponent's turn. Or you could save the Broadbolt, use it to disrupt your opponent during their turn, and then if they try to do anything, like attack Trident, you can just attach Whiptail to make sure that you take out their monster as well. But that's ignoring that you still have these two Zodiac Rat Pierce on the field that you can use to make pretty much whatever rank 4 you'd like. You could get a Beast Warrior specific card, like Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King. You could get a defensive card, like Traptrix Ecclesia, which is pretty popular with cards like Treacherous Trap Hole, or Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, or even Floodgate Trap Hole. Or you could get a card like Cane Gorgon, Anti-Luminescent Knight, that can deflect targeting abilities. For example, if your opponent tries to do this back to you with their own Zodiac Trident, you can just redirect their effect to blow up their own monster. Or you could get Daigusto Emerald. Daigusto Emerald can help shuffle these combo pieces back into your deck and let you draw more cards. So if your opponent has something like Regeki or Darkhole to blast all this stuff off the field, you'll have a chance to try the combo again later on. Or, if you're going second, for example, and you need to take out a tough monster, you could even use number 39 Utopia with Utopia the Light. There's a ton of different setups that you can make with just this one card. All you need is Zodiac Rapier or something that can summon it from your deck, and you can do all this and still have the rest of your hand to work with to fulfill your original strategy or to protect yourself with traps or basically anything. And that is how the Zodiac combo works and why it's so powerful. So keep a lookout for it. Next time you see it during tournament coverage, you'll know exactly how it works and exactly what's going on. And I'll see you next time.
Attention duelists around the world. Thanks to cutting-edge Kaiba Corp technology, you can now duel on your smartphone. Ready? Check this out, everyone! Write the next chapter in dueling history. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Here I go. It's my turn. My turn!
It's my turn.
Play as your favorite character and win your duels. Not a single card can stand up to this. Build your strongest deck and summon your legendary monsters. I call on Blue Eyes White Dragon. White Lightning! Duels are now in the palm of your hand. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Make your move because it's time to duel.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Raging Tempest! On a dark and stormy dueling night, rain monsters down with all your might. Bring wind and birds and beasts from the sky. 100 new cards. Raging Tempest. 9 cards per pack. Each pack sold separately.
QQ stands for Quick Question, and we're here at YCS Atlanta, where Kaiju have been destroying the field. If you don't know much about the Kaiju, they're giant monsters that just make havoc of anything in their way, and it's probably one of the most popular engines in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. So if you had to choose one Kaiju to release, to wreak havoc, to destroy the city of Atlanta, which Kaiju would you choose, and why?
Gamma Seal, because I like turtles.
Gamma Seal, the sea turtle Kaiju, because you like turtles. Well, that's not too vicious, but I appreciate your answer. Good luck in the rest of the tournament, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
I would easily sick Jizukiru, the star-destroying Kaiju, on the city of Atlanta.
Why Jizukiru?
He's my favorite. He's a light, he's a machine. I love machines.
Probably Jizukiru because it's the best kaiju for having the most attack and the most defense. Also, it's like Mecha Godzilla, so it's just gonna like shoot fire everywhere and destroy everything.
So Jizukiru over Thunder King, the Lightning Strike Kaiju, same amount of attack points, can probably destroy the cities with.
Though, so it's more likely to be destroyed by the military.
The countermeasures of the military are the reason you chose Jizukiru. That's a great answer.
Jizukiru, the Star Crushing Kaiju.
Why?
It's just devastating. You see how it look? It's just like it reminds me of Transformers, just like Decepticons or something. Just like one big machine that just like overpowers everything. Yeah.
Probably the Thunder King Kaiju, because who doesn't like thunder, and being all that lightning, being all crackling against Atlanta would be great. That thing looks awesome in general. Like that. Plus, like, it's one of the big ones. Like, it has to be doing like severe damage to the city. It just has to be like that. The Thunder King Kaiju just looks amazing, in my opinion. I think it's the best one.
So the strongest kaiju, eh? Definitely Jizukiru, because you know its name, and it's the biggest kaiju. You know Jizukiru? Yeah.
Gamma Seal, the turtle.
Why Gamma Seal, the sea turtle kaiju?
Because it's slow.
Because it's slow? So you want just the slow and painful destruction of the entire city. That's what you're looking for when you're unleashing giant beasts?
Yes.
So if I could unleash one kaiju on Atlanta, I think it would be Thunder King, the Lightning Strike Kaiju, because I forget how many heads it has. I think it's got 3 heads. Is that right? 3 heads? I mean, come on. 3 heads are better than 1.
Jizukiru, the star-destroying kaiju, because it's already destroying a city in the picture. I mean, it's just common sense.
Yeah, kaiju are known for destroying cities, but what about that specific kaiju do you think makes it especially powerful against the city of Atlanta?
It has a lot of attack.
If I had to pick, I pick Thunder King, because if I pick Gamma Cell, he might have an advantage, but what if that's their animal, they control it, I don't want to lose. So I picked the strongest one, which is Thunder King, to take down everybody.
So if I had to unleash a kaiju on the city of Atlanta, it'd be Thunder King. What was his? The
Lightning Strike Kaiju.
The Lightning Strike Kaiju, because as a guy who played gadgets for like 6 years, Thunder King literally ruined all of my days. So all I can think about with Thunder King is it destroying me, so it might as well destroy everyone else.
So back with vengeance,
Back with vengeance, yeah. That card is insane.
If I could call upon the power of a kaiju to destroy the city of Atlanta, Georgia, I would call upon Ghidorah, the Mystery Wind Kaiju. Because it's just like Mothra and freaking awesome, and he would destroy the entire thing starting at Olympic Park, and it would quake like a quaking mirror force, and it would go out, and let me tell you something, brother. Once it finally hits all of the outer areas, it'll hit Chattanooga, brother. It'll hit Miami, brother, all the way down to the sea, all the way to Cuba, and once that happens with your hot dogging and your showboating, it will have destroyed Atlanta. I guess that's kind of all I had to say. I didn't really have anything further than that. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, thank you, man. That was great. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. So you have it here, folks. YCS Atlanta. Which kaiju would you choose? Probably the most enthusiastic response, but it seems like Jizukiru and Thunder King were the most popular. Make sure to keep tuned for coverage, and we'll see you soon.
It's time to duel! Duel. Duel Links.
QQ stands for Quick Questions. Zodiac cards have been giving a lot of duelists a lot of trouble this weekend, so I figured I'd survey the duelists in a competition this weekend to see if they were a zookeeper, which Zodiac monster do they think would give them the most trouble? What do you think?
Typically, Dryden gives people the most trouble because he puts the most pressure on board.
And if you were a zookeeper and Dryden were in a zoo, how would that put pressure on you?
Because I don't know if the Dryden was ever going to kill me or not.
Dryden might be the most aggressive zoo animal?
Definitely, especially when he has Whiptail equipped to him.
All right.
I think Barbo would put most pressure on me as a zookeeper because it doesn't look really clean and it would always throw around bananas and stuff.
Okay, the answer is definitely Momorat because I am afraid of rats.
Rat Pier?
Rat Pier, yes, definitely.
Probably Zodiac Trident because she's based off a dragon, and dragons aren't always fun to play with. So, and yeah.
Might come after you.
Yeah, you know, spit some fire at me because I didn't feed her once or twice. You know.
What do you think a Trident eats?
I mean, she's a dragon, so probably a person.
I guess the hardest to deal with would probably be Tiger Mortar, because although I do have 3 cats, Tiger would be kind of at a hand for me, considering I'm a tiny person. So I try my best, but there's only so much I can do.
Would you feed your Tiger Mortar cat food?
Yeah, maybe it'd make it weaker since it's not eating raw meat. That's the best I could do.
Might be a little different.
All right, so the Zodiac that will give me the biggest problem would probably be Whiptail. The reason why is because if you look at the card, it looks like a scientist. So that's already, I got an associate, so I'm already pretty sure if you're in a lab coat, you're gonna be a little bit smarter than me, but can't do much when it banishes everything on the field.
It's tough when the animals outsmart the zookeeper.
I know, and it's gonna be a full takeover. If you look at Barrage, they're like destroying everything. I'm not down for that.
Bun because nobody ever uses it.
How would that affect you as a zookeeper?
I don't know. I feel like just having a rabbit like that would be annoying. That's my reason.
All right.
Zodiac Ram by far looks like the most trouble out of all of them.
Why's that?
Man, it's always the innocent ones that are the most terrible, horrifying creatures. The Paleozoic monsters never expected it.
Definitely Tiger Mortar because the dude who jumped into the cage got mauled by it. So probably the same thing would happen.
Scary.
Yep. Trident.
Why?
It just destroys stuff, so it would tear everything up.
As an animal in the zoo, it would do the same?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hello and welcome to the last round of Swiss at YCS Atlanta. This is round 9. We have been here for what seems like an eternity, but we are finally here at table 1, undefeated. This is going to be a good round. I'm excited to see 2 expert duelists battle it out. We have Michael, looks like Zabmidi Jr., against Michael Campos. Pretty interesting strategies. We have Wind Witch Artifact invoked, undefeated. We saw that, was it round 1 or round 2?
I believe
round
it was
2, I think. I think round 1 we did Fluffle, right?
You're right. Yes.
Either round 1 or
yes.
round 2, we saw it. It's still a popular
Right.
strategy. Probably the best way to be playing the Invoke cards along with Wind Witches, so that's pretty cool. And then also we have a 60-card Paleozoic deck with a bunch of sweet tech. Absolute King Backjack, Fairy Tale Snow. We don't normally see that in the Paleozoic variant. Card of Demise. Just a bunch of cool stuff. I'm pretty excited.
So if I told you in round 1 that table 1 in the final round of Swiss on day 1 would have 2 decks that don't use any Zodiac cards, what would you tell me?
I would think that the odds are low, but I could see it with stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like, if you tell me it's a 60-card Paleozoic deck, then I'm like, okay, well, he's drawing that Grasslook screener a lot. He has Fairy Tale Snow. You know, he's using broken cards. And then same thing, if someone had shown me what all the Wind Witch cards could do, and, you know, the fact that they abuse the Raijin a lot, and it's just probably the best, like, controlling variant of the Artifact Invoke engine, then I could see the argument. But you're right, I would have been in disbelief.
Yes, so table 1 this round has 2 decks, neither of which use any Zodiac cards, remarkably. We have Alistair, the Invoker, in the Wind Witch deck. So it's capable of massive plays. And then in Campos's deck, it's using some totally awesome rank 2 monsters, but no Zodiacs. So this is going to be an interesting match, and it might actually be the first match we've done that does not involve any Zodiac cards.
Yep.
So.
It looks like our duels are just about ready on the table, so let's get to it. It is time to duel.
Okay, the duelists are shuffling up. They've drawn their hands now, and they are about to begin.
Yeah, looking at opening hands, did you see who won the die roll by chance?
I did not.
No.
And I don't see their hands. Zimidi's hand is good,
Well,
but
that grass
he's
looks
not
greener.
first.
Best
Yeah.
card, so
All
that's
right,
fine.
Campos opens up with that grass looks greener, Lost Wind, Paleozoic, Morella, Solemn Strike, and Wabaku, and uses that grass looks greener right off the bat to send 20 cards from the top of his deck to his graveyard.
Yep. That's 4 Neilbug's Nest if you're counting it out.
Yeah. At spell speed.
1. Crazy. Mills triple card of demise.
That's
How many Paleozoics does he hit?
Looks like 4
3 or 4.
Paleozoics, but 3 frogs,
And
I
a Ronin
believe,
Toaded.
including a Ronin Toaded.
So not the worst mill. He definitely like gassed up enough, I think, because if you count every Ronin Toad activation as sort of like a card, right, and then you count every Paleozoic as a card,
Looks
you
good.
effectively drew like 7 cards.
Looks good to me.
Yeah.
Zimidi's hand is very strong, though. Magical Meltdown, Wonder Wand, Wind Witch, Ice Bell, which is the one you want to start with. Artifact Sanctum, Call of the Haunted, and he draws another Ice Bell for turn.
Yep.
So
Well, let's see if he can break through 5 back rows, because that is quite a bit. We were talking about the disadvantage of the Wind Witches versus Zodiacs when including the Invoked and Artifact cards, was that Wind Witches are a little bit better going first, but probably substantially worse going second.
Right.
So we might see that come into play here.
Yep, so he summons Ice Bell, but can he summon it through everything? Interesting. Lost Wind will negate Ice Bell.
You control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, then you can special summon. So, okay, so we're okay.
Okay. What's that going to do?
It negates the monster's effect and has its attack.
Negates the monster effect and its attack. And that's for how long? Forever?
Permanently. And while it's in the graveyard, if you special summon a monster from the extra deck, I can set it face down. But it gets banished when it leaves the field.
Okay. So you're doing that when I special summon it?
When you activate it.
Okay, so I'm sure.
Is there any response to this card?
None.
Effect of Paleozoic Piki and my graveyard? Special summon.
Okay.
So Lost Wind negates Ice Bell's effect, and Pikea is special summoned from the graveyard. But Wonder Wand is fantastic here. You can use it to send Ice Bell to the graveyard, which means that he can special summon... Oh, no, you can only use each effect of Ice Bell once per turn, so he still can't special
Which
summon
is why he
the other
clarified
one.
when his opponent was activating Lost.
That's right.
It's like
But-
Magical Meltdown next up.
Yeah, but it's good because it still turns his failed Ice Bell play into draw
Wonder
2.
Wand. It's cool that even if you get stopped, Wonder Wand is great. It's also really cool that that works so well against Dimensional Barrier, because usually the Dimensional Barrier you're just stuck with monsters that aren't that great, and just trade them away with
Right.
Wonder Wand, find some more cards, hopefully some defense, and boom.
Samidi uses Magical Meltdown to search for Alistair, add it to his hand, and then normal summons it, and adds Invocation to his hand.
Are there any additional conditions along with the win?
He's using 3 Alistair in his main deck, along with 3 Magical Meltdown and 2 Invocation.
Yeah.
So he's very committed to the Invoke
In the
strategy.
heavy invoked engines, I think this might be the better way to use it, along with terraforming, obviously.
He's also using 2 copies of Terraform.
Yeah.
Monsters from the extra deck unless they're wind level 5 or higher for the rest of the turn after I activated her effect. So does that negate the effect of this?
It negates the effect of the monster, but I believe that's a condition.
They're discussing whether Ice Bell's effect that prevents him from negating, from special summoning level 5 or higher wind monsters.
Well, I mean, I don't really think that...
monsters other than level 5
Yeah,
or
but
higher.
that shouldn't even really matter, right? Because if
negated.
he activates the invoked fusion, then he's probably just summoning Raijin anyway.
Maybe, or maybe he wants to fuse with Ronin Toad in his opponent's
makes
graveyard,
sense.
right? Does
Yeah.
he have the water invoked? Yes, he does.
That makes sense. So he's using it as a disruption. That was a key way that the invoked spell is just so powerful, disrupting cards.
Yeah. He can summon Kaiju if he wants to, if he can summon a wind monster, which it seems they ruled he could. Is that right? Or they ruled he can't?
I was not able to hear, but it looks like, regardless, he's choosing Raijin.
Right.
That's a level 5 or higher win.
Yep. And it looks like it was, that it has to be a level 5 or higher wind.
Okay, so I guess it's a condition rather than part of a negated effect.
An effective invocation.
I guess.
Back to the deck. Add this to my hand.
not 100% sure on this, but I'm certain we can check with one of our judges at the close of the round to confirm and let you know.
Enter battle phase.
Raijin's a pretty sweet-looking monster.
Yeah,
I've
Raijin's
never really looked at
amazing.
him, but he's got this lightning sword thing going on. Looks like he's got another one in the back.
Incredible effect, too.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah, one of the best effects just ever.
It's a lot like Trident. It's like monsters that are like Trident are just overtaking the game.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that a long time ago. Like, you go further back, like Alcahest, and then
That's true.
Like Kieran. Trying to think of which one was probably. Which one was like the first one? That's a really good question. Which I don't know. Like, I'm thinking back to like Dragon Ruler cards. There definitely wasn't anything like that then. Same thing, even Necros. Like, that's not how they disrupted you.
Kieran's the oldest I could think of.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can talk about like Gungnir maybe, like Necros of Gungnir, as a way that like you can disrupt stuff during both players' turn.
That's true.
Yeah.
That wasn't the most
But I
played
feel like that's
card,
not
though,
what-
in that format.
Yeah, which I
It was used to destroy your
Yeah.
own cards to
Yeah.
stop Valkyris from...
I still think it's wrong that if that wasn't the card was
yeah.
not more played, but that's besides the point. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. I don't know what the first monster we saw like that just had such a powerful disruptive effect that you can use during either player's turn without a cost.
Yeah.
Or like without a heavy cost. Like I don't really count Kieran's cost as being very substantial. Just need to bounce back monster.
So Campos used Wabaku to protect his monsters, special summon a Paleozoic, and then on Campos's own turn, Zamidi used Artifact Sanctum.
As long as
Yeah.
it's off the mat and keep it consistent.
Looks like he had Breakthrough Skill in his graveyard though, so he's able to negate the effect of Artifact Scythe.
Yeah. Like, this is not a zone in the top right corner.
Okay.
That's really good since it's Campos's own turn.
Yeah. He
Now-
might respond with Raijin. Yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen. But he can just get lost winded here.
Well, he doesn't know Campos has Lost Wind, right?
Oh, no, he does because he
Face
reset it.
down. Oh, he did okay, so he does know. It's not a second copy. So that's probably what will happen. I guess there's no reason not to use...
But they
Ri-
can be
well,
targeted, so I can't activate it. Oh.
Can be targeted.
Okay, okay.
oh, it seems
Oh.
previously Zamidi tried to use Raijin's effect to put one of the Paleozoics face down, but they're unaffected by monster effects.
But that doesn't mean you can't target them.
So he's used its once per turn effect already. Instead, he'll Dimensional Barrier and shut down all Xyz summons.
Like, this might be a chance for Campos to activate another Paleozoic. But considering his options.
Certainly contemplating it.
Enter battle phase.
Sure.
Seems he declines to do so. Instead, he attacks.
Square attack. He's probably just going to Lost Wind here.
No response.
Damage.
But he's
Cut it
going to
in
get
half.
got by the invoked monster, right? The Alster.
He could, if he could discard it if he wants to. Yep. Plus
Yeah.
1,000 attack points to Raijin.
I feel like Campos actually just walked right into that one. Probably didn't even realize.
Yeah, that's a lesser used effect, I would imagine. I mean,
Unless Campos has something else. Oh, he just strikes it. Oh, so he
Oh.
didn't walk into it. He knew because he was ready with it set.
yeah. all right.
Nice. Well, that's where you get the both duels are undefeated. I'm sure he's played against a lot of Artifact Wind, which I believe that lost one should be banished, though. Yep.
It is.
Catches it pretty quickly.
Raijin's destroyed in battle.
Yeah, best thing about taking the table one, both duels are pretty heads up about everything. Draws a copy of Wonder Wand. Already has, is that Ice Spell still?
Yeah, I believe he still has that second ice spell.
Enter battle phase. Kill this.
Take 1,000.
Scythe attacks. Destroys one of the Paleozoics. Call of the Haunted.
Yeah, probably going to bring back Raijin.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, but Olenoids could just take this off if he has it. Or maybe, he's going to Dimensional Barrier Fusions. That's cool, too.
You have how many cards in here?
He can Dimensional Barrier Fusions and get back his Paleozoic if he wants to.
Call fusion.
Sure.
That's the play for Campos. Brings back one of his Paleozoics. With fusions being unable to be special summoned, Call the Haunted fails to special summon Raijin.
Yep. And this was what I was talking about when Winch is going second.
Yeah,
So
if he
it's
was
rough.
first, he would have Crystal Wing out.
Yeah.
Call the Haunted could bring it back.
Maybe it's
But for the dimensional barrier, at least. But now he's kind of stuck. He's normal summons Ice Bill. Looks like
I just, if you control no monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, then you can special summon one Win Witch monster from your deck, but it cannot be attributed. You cannot special
That's
summon
the same one
monsters.
from earlier?
Correct.
Okay, yes. Okay. So it has no onboard effect, correct?
Yep, these are going to trade away for Wonder Wand.
Yep. Not the best deal. Gives up a normal summon in 2 cards. You draw
Yeah, but
2
that's
more.
but he found Raigeki.
That's really good.
And he has Invocation. But even though he's deburied on fusions right now, next turn that Invocation's going to be huge.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
that was
Alistair's
the
already
best
in the
thing. He drew
graveyard.
Tom taking Raigeki.
That was incredible.
Yep.
We might see Zamidi win this through That Grass Looks Greener.
Which is crazy. I mean, it was just all about drawing that Raigeki. That was just the best thing
Yeah.
he could have found.
Cleared off 3 monsters.
If he has a way to maybe get back another level 2, he can get back in this game, though. So we'll
Maybe.
see. Oh, doesn't have it. Invocation. We'll see how good it is here.
Summer phase, main phase.
He can also just make a level 8 synchro with Scythe plus Ghost Ogre, right?
Does he have any level 8 synchro monsters to summon that way? Yeah, he has plenty.
Yeah.
He's got Stardust Dragon. That's not really plenty.
Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, can you not?
He needs a synchro monster to make that, right?
That's the turn it sends, or
It has no downside to it.
was that? Okay.
You know, in my head, I was just like, level 8 monster, but
Yeah.
definitely need a synchro.
It is a level 8 synchro, but it
Yeah.
needs a non-tuner synchro.
Yeah.
So he can make Stardust, but
Yeah, I mean, it's something. It's probably better than his artifact. And how good is Ghost Ogre against Paleozoic?
Did you banish the
I don't think it's that great. You're just going to
Yeah.
force out a totally awesome every time. Let's see.
I have water monsters.
Yep.
Now
None of those water monsters really matter too much because they're not Ronin Totem. So I might just get a win and put that Raijin back down.
Yep. He plays 3 copies of the Wind Invoked monster,
Yeah.
Raijin. So here comes the second one.
Campos Morella down the Lost Wind, just so he has a way to disrupt the Raijin the following turn.
He uses the effect of the invocation in his graveyard, returns it to his deck to return Alistair from his banish zone to his hand, and then normal summons it to get invocation back. Invocation's incredible.
Yeah, I'm really liking the Invocation Zodiac decks.
Yeah.
They're pretty strong, and this one is also very impressive without Zodiacs, obviously. Like that,
Yeah.
it's just another 1-card engine. All these 1-card engines are just where you want to be.
Enter battle phase. Tech.
Scythe attacks and destroys Ronin Totem.
Likely.
Or tries to destroy Ronin Totem.
Campos.
How many cards?
3.
I know one of them.
You know invocation, yes. Attack 4,000.
Scythe succeeds, and then Alistair attacks directly.
32. You're at 23 to my 79. Main phase 2.
Is Alistair only when it's normal summoned?
Pass my turn.
The search effect?
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Yes. Or flip face up.
Oh, that means he can combo with Raijin.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I was going to see, that was why I was asking, like, is there any way you can just get extra value out of your Raijin? That's huge.
Yeah.
It's free. Reminds me a lot of the whole Book of Eclipse, Senju Manju thing.
Yeah.
All this additional value in your, without even trying to do that sort of thing. Lost Wind.
So
you think he would respond? If he's lost winning that, I would definitely respond and just.
Absolutely. You might as well
hook
put
my
Alistair
He
face
also has
down.
1,800 defense, not 1,000 attack, so.
I think he'll probably be doing that right now.
Sure, chain effect, target Alistair.
Yes.
Yep.
So, as you predicted.
He also just chain the effect on itself, right?
Could, but what would that really?
Well,
I
Lost Wind
guess
negates
you-
it permanently, so
yeah.
then you can reflip summon it later,
Yeah.
and then still have it online.
And you don't lose half your attack points too.
Yeah.
But
It looks like a
he's
second
changed
Lost
a
Wind will
second
actually
Lost
just-
Wind.
Those stack, I assume?
No, it's just half of the original attack.
Half the original attack. Okay. So still 11. Yes, that's fine.
So Morella's summoned from the graveyard as the Paleozoic monster.
Rodent totem effect?
Sure.
Oh.
That's not the right card for him.
Right here, Dimensional Baryonic Seas is definitely gonna.
That's probably
put a
going to
pin in a
end it,
damper.
right?
Yeah, I mean, yep.
That
Campos sees the right on
ends
the
it
wall.
immediately as Campos concedes.
Yeah, Zimini manages to pull through going second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a good hand.
Yeah.
Not a great hand considering Campos's 4 first-turn back rows, but none of those were able to interfere as much as Campos needed them to. He stopped the Crystal Wing, so that was good. He stopped that from coming out. But in the end, Zimini didn't need it. He just needed to draw some cards with Wonder Wand and lean on Invoked Raijin to win the first duel.
Then it summons, and then it activates, and that effect is also bringing out the thing. Then the burn effect is the second effect that happens at another chain link after it.
Having no monsters is an activation required to activate the effects, and then it summons itself and then another.
So, yeah, it wasn't clarified that he intended to special summon a monster, so I had to assume that that was not his intention.
That's fine. That is its effect to special summon. To do it.
So it is a thing.
Right.
So the fact that you didn't.
It's okay. It's not a big deal. But
Yep, so let's take a look at these side decks. These 8-0 side decks, mind you. So on the Windwitch side, got a full Kaiju engine. Probably coming in, some amount of it. It's pretty good against Totally Awesome, Kaijuing it away.
Yes.
Also has copies of Artifact Lancia, not so good. Twin Twisters, definitely. Dark Hole, probably not so much. Same thing with Quaking Mirror Force. Now going to the Paleozoic 60-card Extravaganza side. 3 copies of DD Crow. Not the worst against the Invoked engine. Being able to DD Crow the fusion spell seems pretty strong.
Yeah, it's also good counter to Call of the Haunted and other revival cards that the Invoke decks tend to play.
Barrier Statue of the Torrent. Maybe not the worst if you can summon it and also have protection.
It's 1,000 attack, right?
Yeah. So it crashes with Alistair. You can also just play around. If you go Alistair and search the Invoke spell, you can still just summon a water monster, right? Like as you use the Invoke spell and then just fuse away water monsters. Their water monsters from their grave.
Yeah,
So it's actually probably not that strong.
Yeah, you can Invocation against Barrier.
Twin Twister.
Yeah.
Also probably not the strongest. Gamseal might actually come in. I think Gamseal, the more I'm watching this, the Windwitch Artifact deck, it's just the Kaijus are great against it. It stops Crystal Wing. It stops the Raijin, your most important threats. Other than that, Artifact Lancia. How good is Lancia against the Invoke deck? They do a solid amount of banishing. Like, actually, Lancia is great against them. Never mind. That's a silly question. It's just like the same way you can get them on Necrozmir. Like, when they activate Invocation and you Lancia them, then they're forced to resolve it as best as they can. And sometimes that's just going to be a blowout. Because they're either going to have to make some bad fusion play, or you just get all of the information of not only what's in their hand, but everything that's in their extra deck.
Oh, that's right. You have to show you don't have Alistair in your hand, right?
Like you have to show that you can't fusion summon.
You can't fusion
or
summon.
it just forces you to make an awkward fusion that you didn't want to make.
Right. Yes, so we might see Lancia come in.
I mean, I don't see why not. It seems great. I was talking to one duelist earlier today. He was talking about how much better the Artifact engine is now because of the Invoke cards, because you can just Sanctum out Lancia against that deck.
The problem is it's sort of a narrow counter because it only really counters the Invoke cards. It doesn't hit the Windwitch.
Sure, but it's still
portion
only
of the
one
deck.
card. He has only one copy of Lancia, so I don't
That's
think it's the
true.
worst. And I think this deck actually relies pretty heavily on the Invoked side. I think it just does the Windwitch thing maybe once. Hopefully it goes off.
That's true.
But I think the Invoked aspect of this deck is what gives it a grind game.
Yeah.
And Paleozoics, all they want to do is just make sure nothing happens, and then they can outgrind whatever. So they just, if you're trying to fight back through a couple cards with the Invocation, stop them once with Lancia, and that's probably the game. Because you definitely stabilize from there and just turn the corner.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Windwitches are actually really just support for the Invoked.
Yeah, which is
For
weird because I feel
Rachel.
like Invoked is normally the support engine in a lot of ways.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's a little different. So Campos opens up with Swap Frog, Dark Hole, Lost Wind, Paleozoic Morella, and Wabaku. He summons Swap Frog and kicks Ronin Toad into the graveyard. Sets Wabaku, Morella, and Lost Wind.
Sided in Dark Hole, or does he main deck Dark Hole? No, right? No, he just kept it in. Never mind. He does main deck it. Magical Meltdown, fantastic. Basically just a reinforcement of the army for Alistair most of the time. It can also give your fusions a little bit of resilience. They can't respond to them in the same way otherwise. But your spell can still get stopped by Dimensional Barrier, which is the big thing.
So his opening hand had Magical Meltdown, Maxi, Wonder Wand, Wind Witch, Glass Spell, not the one he wants. Artifact Sanctum and Call of the Haunted. So he's going to Meltdown for Alistair, as you mentioned, and get Invocation with its effect.
Wonder Wand is so good in this deck.
Yeah, because you could get rid of anything.
Yeah.
Just about.
He's drawing to what, 7 cards? Oh, it draws Mahal Talk, not the best.
Oh, now he has Ice Spell.
So now he can just go off again, right? Yep. Crazy.
Special summons Ice Spell. He does have another copy of Glass Spell in his deck, right? One more. Special summons Glass Spell from his deck. Ice Spell's effect also inflicts 500 points of damage to Campos, just as an added bonus.
Wind Witch monster except for herself.
Glass Spell searches for Snowbell.
Snowbell.
May I read that card?
And now he has all the materials he'll need to make a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon.
That's just adding your hand, correct?
Correct.
So the Snowbell that he's currently holding is actually your hand.
Correct.
Yes. So you have 7 in hand.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Alright. Because I have 2 wins and nothing else, I can special summon it from my hand.
He special summons Ice Bell. I'm sorry, Snowbell. Ice and Glass Bell are already on the field.
Let's see what Campos has. There's a lot of things he can respond with here.
Uses Morella, which lets him kick a trap to the
He's
graveyard.
probably kicking Lost Wind.
Maybe, but that doesn't help him here.
Well, it'll help him later, which is what matters, I think. But no, it may be Breakthrough Skill, I guess, actually. Yeah, Lost Wind.
Okay. It's no immediate help, but you're right, he must be setting up for later. Oh, well, yeah, I guess he wants to set it as soon as Zamidi Synchro summons.
Yeah.
So if I special
But again,
summon
he obviously can't activate it this turn.
in general.
Tell me extra deck.
Okay. And you can do it during either player's turn, no matter what?
I mean, Zami's hand is just still great, though.
Oh, yeah, it's insane.
Wind Witch, Winter Bell.
Married.
Okay.
Winter Bell hits the field. It's really just a stepping stone to get to Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon.
Yeah.
It does let him inflict damage to his opponent, though, equal to 200 times the level of a Wind Witch in his graveyard.
Activate the effect, so Bernie for 800 targeting.
Yeah, I like the incidental damage this deck is able to do.
You are now at
Yeah, sometimes that can be the game winner. So he targets his Ice Bell to deal 800 points of damage.
I'm
not
why
Ice Bell,
Campos hasn't
sorry.
activated Lost Wind.
Glass Bell, sorry. He can't activate Lost Wind, he just said it. Oh, you mean
he
to
just-
special summon it back, to set
reset
it
it,
back
yeah,
from the
I don't know
graveyard.
why he hasn't.
That I don't know.
Still hasn't.
Um,
Is there something I'm missing, maybe? I don't know.
Let's see.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I can only summon wind monsters this turn, so.
Correct. Both conditions of ice
Correct.
and winter.
So.
Lost one.
Zamidi can
There's
only...
Lost Wind then.
Okay. It makes no difference since he can't activate this turn anyway. Zamidi can only special summon wind monsters since he used the effects of his wind witches. So he uses invocation to summon Raging.
Deck needs to be shuffled still.
Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon can't be destroyed by card effects due to the effects of the effect of the Snowbell that made it.
All right, enter battle phase. Attack for 2200.
So it looks like Zamidi's in a pretty commanding lead. Pretty sure if you're Zamidi, you don't care about Wabaku here, right?
I mean, it's tempting to maxi just to cycle it for a different card. Like maybe you find a better trap, but I think holding it's good because you can usually get 2 draws out of it anyway, or at least try to hinder them or stifle them a little bit. So then, if they want to summon totally awesome, you get an extra draw.
Yeah. This is great for Zamidi because even if his Crystal Wing is destroyed, he can use Call of the Haunted to summon it back.
Yeah.
Campos has Dark Hole and Swap Frog in his hand. Dark Hole won't destroy Crystal Wing.
Yeah, I could see Artifact Wind Witch actually winning if that's interesting. It's Artifact Wind Witch and not listed as Invoked Wind Witch, but I could actually see it winning this tournament just because of how unpopular Kaiju are in the main deck right now. Like it's the monsters it tries to summon turn 1 are so strong against everything but Kaiju.
Yeah, it's very true. Okay, so Campos uses Lost Wind. He's going to have the attack of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon and negate its effect.
Snowball? Snowball. Yeah, the level 1 2. It can't be destroyed by bonus card first.
By what?
When I synchro summon with her, you read the card, so I don't know if you missed it or something like that, but at that last sentence it says the monster that synchro summon or whatever gets cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects.
Okay.
Now, is that a continuing effect that will stick with it?
Like Zamidi just reminded Campos that his Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon can't be destroyed by card effects. Certainly good to know since Campos has Dark Hole in his hand.
Definitely.
Does his effect activate on summon? Yes. You activate his effect? Yes.
Campos summons Swap Frog. He activates its effect.
That is fine.
Looks like he'll kick a frog to the graveyard. Specifically, he kicks Swap Frog to the graveyard.
Yeah. Looks like here is where you Artifact Sanctum, I assume.
Or Maxi.
Yeah.
Or
I think I
both.
like Sanctum a little better.
Yeah, just stop him in his tracks.
Yeah, I
summon
mean, it's
Scythe,
the same
and then-
thing. Like, you try to stun your opponent while threatening to beat them the following turn. I feel like that is what the most powerful strategy is right now.
Yeah, because right now, Campos's field doesn't amount to much. Just a bunch of individually weak monsters.
Yeah. He does have that Mirror Force, though.
See, that's a Storming Mirror Force in his hand? That would be really good.
Yeah, well, Raijin will be able to save itself or save something.
Yes.
Like, if he declares an attack with a weaker monster first, he can Raijin down the Crystal Wing and reflip it, for example. Or just Raijin down itself and then reflip Raijin.
Well, even now, he can Raijin the Crystal Wing, right, to reset its attack points?
He could, but then I think it forgets that it can't be destroyed by card effect.
Sure, so these will die, this will stay here, correct? Correct.
So Campos uses Dark Hole, clears the field of everything except the 1500 attack Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon.
It's half attack? That's it?
It's effects negated.
And it's original. Half
Oh, he could have used Raijin's effect to put one of his monsters face down, then use Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon's effect to negate it.
Oh,
but
no,
it-
its effect is negated by Lost Wind.
Oh, you're right. You're right. No effect. Half the attack and no effect.
Oh.
And it would only gain the
Twin
attack points for the
Twisters
turn
off the
anyway.
block. Discarding Moral Talk with Call of the Haunted set is a beating. It's Mirror Force
Wow.
and Lost Wind. Huge deal. And then he gets to normal summon Alistair.
So Invocation's coming back, and Campos' in-hand Swap Frog is not going to do anything. I think we might see Campos summon Cocytus instead of Raijin because he might want to get rid of that Ronin Totem.
Yeah, I could see that. But see, I think Raijin here is actually still pretty strong. Though. Oh no,
he's
choosing
summoning
a
the light one,
the
Macabre.
Invoke Macabre.
He wants to be able to negate anything.
Yep. Effective invocation.
He has a monster in his hand. He has Maxian Glass Bell, and he'll also have.
Enter battle phase.
Well,
Attack for 20.
I guess that's it. So he can just negate monster effects right now.
Attack for 1500. Brings you to 27.
Campos takes 4,000 points of direct damage.
Targeting my Raging. Attack for 2200.
And Alistair should
and
finish it.
activate Alistair and
Yep, that's just game.
Wow.
damage step for 1,000, so 3,200 total.
Call the Haunted for Raging, attacks directly, boosted by Alistair.
Zemani
And
gets it.
That's the match.
Yeah, Artifact Windwitch, super strong.
Yeah, he takes a 2-0 victory.
Yeah. Yeah, that deck is crazy.
Yeah, it does. It's a lot like Zodiac's in that it can do so much with one card.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons it's successful. One thing is that the Wind Witches need to be run alongside another engine that utilizes wind monsters, right? Because they're restrictive. Once you use their effect, you
Right.
can't only summon level 5 or higher wind monsters. So the fact that you can just Invocation for Raijin is great, and then you get the grind game with the whole Invocation engine. That's what makes it super powerful. I
Yeah.
really like this deck.
Yeah, it's a very cool deck. And right now, he just won his feature match at table 1. So
Yeah, he will be
he's
moving on undefeated tomorrow. Probably already locked in a slot in top 32. He can lose twice, and there's a very good chance he'll still make it.
Very likely.
Yep.
So,
and that looks like it's all we have for today. Make sure to tune in tomorrow morning. We'll be back with rounds 10 and 11 of Swiss before we cut to a top 32.
that will start at 9 a.m.
Yep.
So make sure you tune in so you don't miss any of the action. And shortly thereafter, we will see which decks make it to the top 32.
Yep. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.